Oop. Gotta put that over there. What? Okay. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Sharing with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Tapier. Yeah, I got the tapier. Yep, indeed. Nice haircut. No, it's not. Don't fucking lie to me. I'm kidding. I think it's I. Typically, it doesn't look very good on the first day, but I don't know. It needs to grow out like slightly. Yeah. But make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. I'm looking forward to all of the comments about how, of course you think God isn't real. I wouldn't think God is real if I looked like that. Whoa, this one's literally called Divine Fingers. Surely that one. Okay, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you are in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of reason to think that God exists. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Oh, don't like that. I don't know what the fuck that is, but don't like that you joined here. Fucking camera on. Showing some unfamiliar piece of skin. But anyway, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Totally could have been. Totally could have been. Yeah, anyway. Make sure you're doing all that good stuff. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about God and time and like the different models and relations that God might have towards time. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is the B theory of time, eternalism, which basically holds that past, present, and future are all actual, that there isn't like some sort of like coming into being, that the things that have being kind of like eternally. But then one of the implications of this is that, there is no state where God exists alone. Creation is co-eternal with God. And I don't know, there are like some interesting critiques of this. One of the critiques that I recently heard is that it kind of has like problems for like divine, I don't know how to pronounce the word, but it's like the one related to like redemption and like the afterlife. It's the one that starts with an E. I have zero clue, but namely, if nothing ever goes out of existence, if like the entire timeline just kind of always exists, it seems to make the problem of evil worse. There seems to be like this promise where God will redeem all of this suffering that just kind of can't happen under the B theory of time, because this suffering is just always actual. Like evil is just always actual. There is no state of affairs where there is no evil. That's simply not going to happen. Whoa, Catholic thinker, I have a question for you about divine simplicity. I'd be curious, like, I was thinking about this. I don't know. I'd be curious to see which part of it you'd reject. Okay, so premise one, if God is divinely simple and God has existence, then God is existence. Simplicator. Existence, I don't know. How do I want to say this? Existence simplicator exists at, or maybe I want to say is actual at every moment of time. And then from 1 and 2, I think it just follows that God is actual at every moment of time. Therefore, God is actual at every moment of time. I don't know. Is there like some obvious mistake in this argument, Catholic thinker? Uh, yeah, Bubbles, that's a good question. Divinely simple refers to the idea that God doesn't have parts, that God is identical to all of his attributes. Like, God is just identical to love, and God is just identical to goodness, and God is just identical to, I don't know, like infinite knowledge. Um, because, God doesn't have any parts. He's simple, he's not composed. And because of that, there's only one thing, the divine substance. Um, Hmm. Okay, so you're saying that you would reject two, that existence implicator is actual at every moment of time?
In a literal sense, yeah, like that's the one that I would push back on, and I got to be quick because I got a meeting coming up here in about 10 minutes.
That's okay.
But yeah, I would reject two, or at least push back on two, because if existence implicator is actual at every moment of time, now we are putting the property of being in time onto existence implicator. Therefore, it's no longer existence implicator.
It feels
Um,
like it feels almost obviously false though to say that there isn't existence at different moments of time.
so there is existence at different moments of time, but I wouldn't say that there is existence implicator at every moment in time.
Okay, but
Um,
I'm not really sure what the difference is between existence and like saying like
so
something like there is existence at a time and there is existence implicator at a time.
have you looked in? So the reason for that is, and this is a very common mistake a lot of people that I speak to make, is it is not accurate to say that, like, within the language Thomas Aquinas used, and I'm trying to figure out a way to use it where um, people don't feel icky about it with Kant's, statement about existence not being a predicate.
Hmm.
But you and I possess or have our own actualization, even though we are not existence implicator. Um, and so there is existence in time because there are things that exist in time. But if God is divinely simple, which we're referring to as
Hmm.
existence implicator, as soon as we try to say this existence implicator is in time, we have now added a property or an attribute to existence implicator, which contradicts the existence implicator.
Okay. I think I might understand what you're saying. Like you're saying that so existence implicator is like just a simple substance.
Hmm.
Sure. Um, okay. I guess I'm not really sure. I mean, maybe you could like reword it. Do you think it's false to say like that God is existence and then we could just take away this implicator and just say existence is actual at every moment of time?
Um, it's going to get the language is going to get messy if you do that because it's more than just God is existence, because it's not like God is red and there are things that have redness.
Yeah.
Like we want to avoid that type of language. It's more of um, God. If we asked what is God, the answer is existence, and because the answer is existence, it also states that God exists. Versus if I asked what Ian is, we get one answer, and then we have to ask a different question and get a different answer to
Mhm.
ask if you are actualized or have existence. Um,
So if you were to say
so,
that I have existence, is that
mhm.
the same thing as just saying like I have God?
No, that would be more of like saying that you are in the category of being, whereas so the understanding that Aquinas used is kind of along the lines of like the reason why something can be read is because there is, effectively the light wave that provides that property of
Mhm.
appearing as red to us.
Yeah.
Uh, the thing needs to be able to receive that light wave and respond to it, but it can't be red unless there is that light wave. God, in this analogy, is the light wave, and what we are possessing or showing is not the same thing as that light wave.
Mhm.
It is, um, a different, like something similar, but not quite the same.
Okay, wait. So would the critique then be that 2 is equivocating?
Yes.
Okay, sure, I see. Um, okay. Well, that kind of seems weird to say that 2 is equivocating, that God exists, that God has existence in a different sense than I have existence. It's
Well,
kind of
that's
hard
what
to
divine simplicity
understand.
says is that every positive statement about God is, like, if we were to apply it, literally turns into an equivocation. And then the, like, even within, like, Aquinas argues that God is so wholly unique that even the fact that, like, his essence is his own existence is a unique situation, that it becomes difficult to try to use our human understanding of our
Mm.
relationship to existence to understand God's
This
essence as his existence.
okay. This to me, it feels like this would undercut literally every possible argument for theism. Like, it seems like at that point you couldn't claim that if you were to try to make like the first way, for example, or to argue the
Mhm.
first way, it seems like at that point you could neither truly predicate of God that he is unmoved or that he's a mover.
So that, I would, if you haven't already, look into emanation and how Aquinas understood creation ex nihilo from emanation. Because the way that he understands, like, movement is change.
Mhm.
So what he's basically trying to describe there, especially like with the argument of from motion, is there has to be something that in and of itself does not change, but is the reason for things to have change. Because the understanding of emanation effectively was, you have the ultimate perfection of everything, the ultimate being, in the sense of, like, this is the being of and reason why things have being,
Mhm.
and everything that's further away from it is a less perfection of it. And so by going
Hmm.
up that chain is the we can see, like, that potentiality is our lack of having that perfection.
That feels like it
And
couldn't
so,
possibly be true. I feel like under that criteria, you'd have to say that, like, I don't know, like, you'd have to say, like, the Holocaust has less being than, I don't know, like, the basically, like, developing the cure for malaria. That just doesn't seem like it could I don't know, that just seems false to say
well,
that, like, one
it's
event has less being than another event.
well, it's not that one event has less being than another event. It's more of, like, there's categories of being. So, like, in Aquinas's understanding, angels are closer in being to God because they are just existence plus form.
Mhm,
We are less than angels because we are existence, matter, and form.
mhm.
And then if we were to add something else to that, then you would have, existence, matter, form, plus some fourth thing. And each movement away from that gets you to, um, requires more potentiality to be present in order for it to get to that ultimate being.
Mm.
And so that gap between beings, which is what we are, and God as being is what enables the possibility for potentiality and change. And that's what he's basing his argument from the first way on, is basically the gap between us and that ultimate being.
That still
But
makes 0 sense to me, like, I actually have no idea how to make sense of the idea that there are, like, degrees of being or even, like, different
mm,
categories of being, like, I don't know, that I truly have no idea. what
Yeah,
that
and
is really saying.
there's a reason I don't use the five ways in most of my conversations because they were not meant for people outside of the Aristotelian metaphysics.
Mhm.
But I do got to get into this
Yeah, of
meeting.
course. I was
I'll
about to
definitely
say.
call in and we can talk about this later.
Okay, sounds good. Yep. Hey, well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Um, Allo Imperium, thanks so much for the super chat. Watched your Raw Soul debate. Glad he's making a list. Oop. Glad he's making a list of atheists he's going to get destroyed by. Yeah, he has like a wish list of people to get humiliated by. You know, first he got humiliated by me. Well, actually, frankly speaking, apparently he got humiliated by like a number of people before me. Um, as is indicated by like the Phil Library unlisted videos that feature Raw Soul. Apparently he got humiliated by like Divinity, like obviously, and then he got humiliated by there's like some other people, but yeah, I don't know why you do that, but good for him. You know, you gotta try your best to get better, although somehow he doesn't get better. Soliman, thanks so much for the super chat. Sorry, Thinker. Aquinas seems like a fanfic writer. I don't know if that's true. All right, let's go to the next guest.
God,
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I'm
How
good.
old are you?
21.
And what religion?
Family is Jewish, but I'm Christian.
Okay. What makes you think that God exists?
Every time that I read the Bible, I feel better. I feel like there's something that enters my body, and I feel like I'm a better person overall. So I think that it is real.
I mean, that seems compatible with atheism. You know, something can give you good advice and then just have false metaphysics, you know. Presumably, if it said the exact thing that it said, but God didn't exist, you'd have the same sort of reaction to that. I mean, sometimes when I'm reading fiction, there'll be like a piece or like a line that a character says, and it will be really impactful on me. You know, I was watching Howl's Moving Castle the other day, and then the main character says, you know, a heart is a heavy burden, and I really thought about that line. So I don't think,
Mm.
I guess I don't think that
Well,
something positively impacting your life necessarily means that it must be true.
well, the thing is that if you mentioned things, right? You mentioned characters, but the difference is with our Bible, there is things that you must follow, and that's how you are a true believer, right? You don't call yourself a believer without following God's words, and also if you don't believe in something, you're not even a believer. So that's why I'm telling you, I'm a believer because it's
Hmm.
something that I cannot prove, but it's something that I can feel in my
Yeah.
body, in my brain.
Do you think the only way to arrive at the conclusion that God exists is by feeling him?
I would say it's like mainly beliefs, so more than 50% beliefs, 70% probably.
I'm not sure that answers the question. Do you think like the only evidence for God is the way people feel when they read the Bible?
No, it's the scripture.
Okay, what sort of evidence do you think the scripture like lends to God's existence? Like, why would I think the scripture is true?
Well, because like I said, you before reading a Bible, you should like read it in order to gain more knowledge of it, right? You should be a believer. If you don't believe in something, it's like
Why?
me reading Harry Potter. If I don't believe in these things, why am I even reading it? It's not going to be anything of good intellectual for me.
You
So,
don't think you should ever consume a work of fiction because you don't believe in it? You don't think there
well,
could ever be
fiction.
value in doing that?
Well, fiction. I mean, I'm a guy that likes the truth.
Okay,
Like I don't believe in Santa and all those things.
I'd hope not. That's a
Yeah.
kind of a strange detail to share, but you know, I think that you can get value out of things that are fictional. So I don't think the fact that you get value out of the Bible means that it's not fictional.
But like at the same time, I told you right before I read the Bible, I was this human being that didn't have any value in life. I didn't see the truth in the darkness, right? I felt like I was trapped in a body that was not truly mine. But when I read the Bible, I started bonding with other people. I started being more intellectual, and I started being more happy. So I would say that's something that makes me happy. And the scripture is kind of legit, in my opinion. Then it is real.
Okay. So I'm already happy and I already feel like I can make meaningful relationships with people and I can already do all those things without the Bible. So why would I need the
That could be
Bible?
that could be a method of coping, wouldn't you
With
say
what?
that?
What would I need to
coping
cope
with like
with?
depression. A lot of people say that they
I don't
are
have
happy, which are
depression.
not happy.
My life is like really great. I don't have depression.
Do you know that? How do
Yeah,
you know that?
I don't feel depressed. I have lots of energy to do the things that I love doing.
But I think that if you read the Bible and you were a true believer, you would feel even better.
I don't think that believing something for no reason could possibly make me feel better because one of the most important things to me is the pursuit of truth. I like to pursue true things, and in order to pursue true things, you can't just believe things because you want to. You need to believe them because there's enough evidence for them. I think my life would get measurably worse if I just one day decided to believe in the Bible for no reason.
So you only believe in the truth and what's proven, right? Like you believe in science, I would
Or
say,
things with
right?
evidence, like proven or evidence is fine.
Like this is a thing with your the way of thinking, right? The way of absorbing things. You think about the things that are true and what is factually true. I think about the future. I think that, the future can be great. I think that there is a good, future for me. But you don't, because you cannot
I
prove that,
do.
right?
The fuck?
You can
I
you
have
can't
I have
prove
good
that you're going to have a
evidence
good
for
future.
it.
How do you have evidence?
Yeah, and so far as I'm locked in on my habits, things have been getting better previously. I grinded out my reading and my philosophy game, and now I'm just way deeper on the literature. I have cool things scheduled. Like, I don't know, I'm taking a philosophy course with a philosopher that I really like over the summer. And I'm going to keep getting better, both as a debater. Um, and then, I don't know,
Like,
I
how can
just
you
have like
prove that
lots of
tomorrow's
good
going to
things in
be
my
another
life.
day?
Hmm?
How do you know tomorrow's going to be another day?
Are you asking like how do I know for certain? I mean, I could give you like an inductive case, all the days that have come before. The sun's risen so many times before, so it's likely to rise tomorrow as well.
So it's more than likely.
Yeah.
That's your
Yes.
evidence.
Yeah. How do you know
So
that God isn't going to blow the
after
world up?
because it doesn't say it in the Bible.
Oh, sorry. Does everything that's God's going to do appear in the Bible? Does he tell you exactly what he's going to do?
No, he tells you why he died.
Sure. So he doesn't tell you everything. So how do you know he isn't going to like blow the world up and that there won't be tomorrow?
Because I think that when you're a believer, you don't see the bad things right in life. You just absorb them, and it's part of life. But it's not because God wants you to suffer. So I don't think that he's gonna blow up the world
Yeah, you just don't
for
think so.
suffer.
Right? Like you don't know that for sure. You just think that. And that's fine, right? I think that you can just make these judgments on the basis of evidence, which it sounds like is what you're doing. You reason from what you think is true about God's character to what you think is likely. And I'm reasoning from what I know about the cosmos to what I think is going to happen tomorrow.
Okay, and this is one last thing I want to ask you though
Yeah.
about your beliefs and stuff, because I don't think you believe in anything, right? Do
I
you?
believe in lots of things. Like, for example, I
Like
believe that God
religion.
isn't real. I don't believe in any religion, no.
Okay, so what happens after you die? Do you think you're just gonna shut down and then it's gonna be like a computer, or
Yeah, it's
you
going to
don't
be
know
like
the
before you
process?
were born. Like, you just simply don't exist at that point.
Do you think you're gonna come back though, like in another body?
No, I have no reason to believe that.
Okay, I was just making sure because I'm a religious person, but other people have atheist people have told me that they come back in another body. They don't know who it is. They don't even know their past, right? It's like they just come.
Yeah, that sounds like a Buddhist belief. I mean, a
Do
lot
you
of
think that
Buddhists
they?
are atheists.
Do you think like that's a good belief though? Like, do you think that's possibly true?
I don't
If
have any
there's no
reason to
proof
think that
against
that
it,
is true.
but like, there's no reason to deny it, right?
There's no reason to believe it. There's nothing to explain that would require positing that. There also probably is reason to deny that. It's kind of strange to think about how that process would have started because we all started from like a single-celled organism. So is that the first conscious thing? Like, where did all these souls come from? Eventually, it sounds like they just popped into existence. Like, the fact that the number of things that are alive is like growing exponentially makes it feel very unlikely.
So let's see, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg.
Okay, that's all I had for you, bro.
All right. Hey, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff.
Oh,
Hey, how's it going?
yes. Good, brother. What you up to?
Yeah.
How's your day?
Yep. How old are you?
23.
Yep. And what religion?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't believe in no religion. I just believe in God
And by
and men.
God, what do you
That's
mean?
all. By God, the higher, whoever's higher, you know.
Not really. I don't know. You're
That's
gonna
what
need to
I
get a bit more
like.
specific. I'm not really sure what you believe
Like
in.
to be honest with you, like what I'm trying to say to you is, I believe in God, but I don't believe in no religion, because the
Hmm.
religion killed Jesus Christ.
So you believe in the Bible?
I believe in the Bible. Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
sure. Okay. What makes you think that God exists?
I got a question to you. Ready?
Okay.
An example. There's a Ouija. There's called Ouija boards, right, out there.
Yeah, there are Ouija boards.
Okay. And what it comes into that, what does that Ouija board helps to do?
I don't think it does anything. I think that it's
Uh,
you subconsciously moving it. In fact, there's like a really great video about this exact thing. Um,
is
uh,
that thing?
so there was a show that I watched when I was younger called Brain Games. Let me go
Hmm.
ahead and share this screen with you. Um, let's watch like a quick video from them. So the Ouija
Okay.
board appears to work great. When everybody's eyes are, everyone can see, everyone is, you have like the Ouija board moving around and whatnot. One sec, let me put this into like 2x speed, 3x speed even. Now let's go sicko mode. Let's go to 4x speed. So okay, but then you put the blindfold on
Uh-huh.
and you go nowhere. It it simply stops working when you can't see it anymore.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
they're just not even landing on any letters in the first place. So the Ouija board seems pretty straightforwardly to be, you know, something that the people are subconsciously moving. Like it settles on a
Hmm.
letter because the people are seeing it settle on a letter.
All right. Settle. Okay. All right. I mean, I see you prove your point that people cannot see, like if they're blind, they cannot see what the Ouija board does, right?
Yeah, like
Correct.
so probably what's happening in a Ouija board is that you, the person, are subtly subconsciously moving it, not intentionally, but unintentionally, you are moving it
Okay.
um,
Okay.
among
Have you
like all
heard
the
about?
people. But then when you
Okay.
can't see it anymore, you don't really know where to stop.
Oh,
So
okay.
you
You're
just
right.
kind of
You're
stop
right. All right.
anywhere.
Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. What about, have you heard about spiritual box?
I haven't heard about spiritual box.
So there's it's called a spiritual box, right? Whereas there's a radio, there's like a radio station. It goes around. There's, there's a lot of radio stations, and some people say that ghosts communicate through that. They use they use energy, right?
Oh, actually, I have heard of this. I do know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Um,
okay. And then there's been multiple cases all around the world. There's not only one place that they said they heard voices through that radio, and there's a actually record. There's a little device. It's called, I forgot. The human ears cannot hear it, but this device, how they call it, can hear it. It can record everything, basically.
I don't
Like
know what that is.
I forgot the name of it, but it's a little device, right, where you could connect it, and it's like a recorder, right? You know where I'm
I'm
going to?
not really.
I don't know how to. Hold on. So it's a recorder, right? And you basically can record anything you can hear, right? Any questions you can ask to it, and you can hear a voice through it. Even
Do you know what the name of it is? Because okay, wait.
I'm
So
not.
to
I've
address
never.
like the spirit box thing, I mean
Hmm.
that if I'm not mistaken, just picks up like a lot of radio interference. There's going to be like fragments of a voice because people are transmitting voices through the radio. I don't think that like typically what gets spat out of them is totally incoherent.
But like, okay. So my main point, where I'm trying to go to is, where I'm going to land my plane is this is a spiritual world. You know what I mean? What I'm
No.
saying? Like right now, you. What I'm trying to say is a spiritual world, because there's where anywhere you go, there was a story. Like an example, your house, right, where you
Hmm.
live at, right? or maybe 100 years ago, there was somebody who passed away there, or somebody who lost their life. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? And that person maybe passed away and went, maybe he found the light, maybe he didn't, and maybe he got stuck. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to tell you is that how to cut it through those devices. Sometimes we could connect and help other beings or whatever it is to
Then
find peace. You know what I mean?
that just seems like not very likely. Insofar as most of the stuff that comes through this are like short and incoherent. It's not like the spirits have like better things to do. Presumably, you'd be expecting like full messages. Also, I mean, if ghosts were real, you'd expect a lot more ghost sightings.
There's actually been ghost sightings. There's actually videos all around the internet. You could search.
You'd
There's
expect like
actually
way
even
more than there are. You'd expect like tons and tons. Like think about the number of people who have died. I think there's like
like
8
an ex-
billion humans alive. I think there's been like 110 billion humans throughout all of human history.
correct,
Like
correct.
there should be way more ghosts than there are people. Like you should be bored of how many ghosts
Keep,
you've seen.
I mean, I lived it before. It's not
Mhm.
even our first rodeo where I actually because my dad is a pastor. He actually spelled demons through people from people's bodies, and actually could do you a favor. And whenever we had the time again to talk, I'm willing enough to show you those videos and show you how these people got possessed by demons and by the Bible, the Word of God. We took out these demons off those human beings, these people. Like we took the demons out of them. We like, you know what I mean. We helped these people, and to a point that if I could prove that to you, if God's word works in expelling those demons out of those people, I believe that God is real.
So here's something that I would be interested in. I don't think there are any accounts of an atheist ever getting possessed by demons. Every single time you look into a demon possession story, it's not like an even distribution between atheists and Hindus and Muslims. It's entirely Christians. Whatever religion you are is the religion that you're going to go to get help with these demons, you know. I don't know
Mhm.
how like the extent to which Muslim people believe in like things like possessions, but presumably they would just go to their imam, and Christians are just going to go to like a priest. So the fact that it doesn't seem like I can't find any reports of atheists getting possessed by demons, that seems to indicate that it's something that you experience it because you already believe in it.
Yeah, I believe in it because in the beginning I didn't believe in none of that until I see it with my own eyes and I experienced it. Like that's like, you know what I
Experience
mean.
what? Experience somebody else? The person who already
I
believed in it?
No, what I experience is what I saw with my own eyes. An example, I never thought somebody could get possessed, like at all. Like
Mhm.
I never thought somebody could get possessed. That's what I believed in. I didn't believe in ghosts. I didn't believe in none of this. I didn't even believe in God, to be honest with you. I was just, a normal kid who was 15 years old. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And into I got brought into this, right? This lifestyle that how to call that my parents, like they're Christians, right? And they how to call it, supposedly told me, hey, you know what? It's time for you to see what's out there, to see where we're in out there in the spiritual world. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like to show.
But
I was
wait,
sure
were
he even
you
told me.
possessed or did you see somebody else who was possessed?
I saw somebody else got
Okay,
possessed.
and did that
Like
person already believe in spirits?
that person didn't believe in spirits at all, brother.
How would you
That
know? You were
person.
15. You're telling me you remember
Be,
that?
I'm telling you because
I think you
her
just
parent.
lied. I'm like,
No, no,
okay.
no,
I'm
no.
actually just gonna ask you point blank. Go ahead and prove that.
What I'm trying to tell you is like because when I was in when we went to that house, right? The whoever that young girl who got possessed, her mom told us, we don't believe in no religion, we don't believe in
Then why
nothing,
the hell would she call
and
your dad? That doesn't make any sense.
because she needed some help,
Then why would
she
she
needed
call your
help
dad for help? This story is mad inconsistent.
because the reason she needed help is because she did her best to figure it out what was going on with her daughter. She took her to doctors, she took her to everything, and the point even the doctor said I cannot explain what is going on with your daughter.
And how did
Do
she
you
end up
understand?
calling your dad? How did that happen? Who recommended calling your dad?
So basically, her how to call her family member, one of her friends, knew my dad, and they contacted my dad. They're like, "Hey, we got this girl who's possessed. We got
Did you
proven
see like the
videos of
story
it."
just changed like in real time? Like you slipped up? You said her family member, her friend.
I'm telling you, her family member called my dad, and one of her friends knew my dad's phone number, gave it to
Oh
her,
yeah?
and that's when we got in contact with those people. You
Okay,
understand what I'm
so
trying
so
to say?
your story is that she went to doctors and the doctors didn't know how to help, and then she has like a family member who's friends with your dad,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
and then could you call
And
your
then we
dad right
con
now and ask? I'd love to hear
like
this
my
story from your dad.
no, my dad is not here. That's what I'm telling you. When we ever have a chance,
Yeah, please. Yeah,
I'll be
please
happy
call
and
your
glad he.
dad and we'll get him to swear on the Bible that what you just said is true because you didn't just lie
I'm,
on the Bible, did you?
I'm not lying on the Bible. I'm
Okay,
telling
well,
you
sure. I
what
encourage you
happened.
as soon as you get your dad, you can come back up and then we can see whether or not he's willing to swear on the Bible that this happened. But I suspect we'll never hear from you again because you just lied. Mr. Peiko, thanks so much for the super chat. Howl's Moving Castle mentioned? Have a great day. Absolutely. Howl's Moving Castle is a W movie. It's a goated movie. Although I was talking to some of my coworkers, some of them hate them. Some of them hate Howl's Moving Castle. I don't fucking get it. I think Howl's Moving Castle is an excellent movie. And they're like, "Oh, Howl is like so egotistical," and it's like, yeah, that's the point. That's like his character flaws that he's like super egotistical. That's yeah, he's like vain. That's oh my gosh. I can't fucking believe the lack of like media analysis. Um Stone Zero, thanks so much for the 4-month Cool Core membership. Love y'all. Love you too. Great to see you. Nightman Comment, thanks so much for the super chat. Spirit boxes, what is this? Ghost Adventures? Maybe. Seems like it. Nectu, thanks so much for the super chat. Almost a year. Drinks on me in a month, y'all. Whoa, that's so cool. That's really great to see you. Soliman, thanks so much for the super chat. Why would God let innocent people get possessed? True. Me personally. Let's say that you had this daughter who you loved profoundly, and then there's like a person who's trying to, I don't know, inflict like severe misery on that person, and you're all powerful. Presumably you just like stop them from doing that. Presumably even if all they want to do is like cause misery, presumably you snap your fingers and like poof them out of existence. I don't know, it doesn't make much sense. Haircut looks great and Totoro is the best. You're gonna kill me, but I've never seen Totoro. All right, let's go to the next guest. Hey, how's it going? Service
What's up?
proper? Yep, how old are you?
I'm 43.
There seems to be a huge delay.
Yeah, sorry, I think I'm in a bad area here. Let me get to a better area.
Please.
Can you hear me?
Yep, let me know.
Can you hear you can hear me okay now?
I think so. Is there a delay?
Cool. I'm
Hey, listen, buddy, you can't be driving either. So
sorry.
how about you go ahead and get
Can you,
home, and then you can come on after you're home and have like Wi-Fi.
Is that yours, Dad? Oh, hold on, hon.
Hey, how's it going?
It's well, thank you. How are you?
Yep. Doing well. Yeah. How old are you?
I'm in my 40s.
Okay. And what religion are you?
Well, I'm not necessarily an identitarian believer, but um, I like the conversation you were having earlier with the gentleman who was discussing how God is existence. So I guess that would be the core of my belief.
Okay. Well, when I say God doesn't exist, do you think I'm saying like existence doesn't exist?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you think
Sorry
that my
about that.
claim is that existence doesn't exist when I say that God isn't real? That's not what I'm
No,
saying.
I
I
just
mean,
no, I guess my view is that you know the concept of God in the Bible that is based on a term like the tetragrammaton, which is related to the verb for existence. And so, like, I guess I look at it as kind of an intellectual technology that I guess emerged in which,
do you have headphones?
people
You're a bit
use this
like
idea.
you're a bit muddy. Do you have headphones on? Could you disconnect whatever
Yeah, I'll
headphones you
turn those
have?
off. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
How's that? Can you hear me better?
It's about the same, maybe a bit better.
Does that work?
I think so. I think so. Actually, that seems to have worked. Yeah. Okay. So, that's fine.
I am
But
so
you
sorry
you
for
believe
this.
in the
Hold on.
Bible. That's
Trying
totally
to
fine.
sort this out.
Yeah.
It's
What
my
makes you
first time
think?
doing this.
Yep, that's all good. What makes you think God exists? It also sounds there's like a bunch of horrible audio. Right? I don't know if you're like scratching your speaker, but like please stop. It feels like every couple
I
of seconds it's
apologize.
like jingling around.
Yeah, I'm trying to disconnect my phone, and people are calling my phone while I'm speaking with you. So I'm running into a lot of problems. This is the first time I've
Okay,
ever
the
done
audio
this.
is like a bit too bad. Maybe you could fix your audio and come back. It's a bit too much for me. Hey, how's it going?
Hello there. Can you hear me?
I don't know why the audio is like this. You have really bad audio too. You might need to disconnect your microphone. If you're off the app, I can't hear you, but you might want to disconnect your mic or your headset.
Is that any better?
Much
I've
better.
disconnected the headset.
Yep, much
Oh,
better.
brilliant stuff.
Yep. How old are you?
Love it. Thank you. I'm 46.
Yep. And what religion?
Well, I don't really know if I connect myself to any religion, to be honest with you. It's yeah. I mean, it's something I think about quite a lot because I've had a pretty random experience happen in my life.
Okay, but do you think that God exists? I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on, man. Hey, how's it going?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better. Yeah. How old are you?
43, and I'm a Christian.
Yep. Okay. What makes you think God exists?
Non-denominational. I'm sorry, what was the question?
What makes you think God exists?
The golden ratio.
Okay. What about the golden ratio?
That's, in my opinion, a mathematical constant, 1.618 across nature and galaxies. Pretty good indication of something that designed something with intent instead of
Why? Why would God
randomness.
possibly intend for everything to have this exact ratio?
Well, I guess you could ask, why wouldn't he?
Because it's so specific. There's so many other ways that he could have created the universe. The fact that he's created it in the one way with this exact ratio, that just seems very unlikely. It seems like a much more natural explanation is that there's some sort of law of physics that lends itself towards this, or maybe that there's some sort of like statistical average in material sciences that leads to things forming in this way because it's like an efficient way of packing space.
Is that because you have a grudge against God because when you asked or called upon him when something tragic happened to you when you were younger, that now you
That
have a
was an
grudge against
insane
him?
pivot. No, it's not because I have a grudge against God. I just want to believe true things.
How do you know what is true?
Various ways depends on the thing. So,
I
for
would
example, how
think,
I know the truth that 2 plus 2 is 4 is different from how I know the truth that we're having this conversation right now, which is different from how I know the truth of, for example, evolution.
so you like to use a mental construct, which is logic.
I don't grant that that's a mental construct.
It is definitely a mental construct.
What's the
Can
argument
something
for
be,
that?
Ian, my argument is, can something be logical and still be not true?
Can something be necessitated by the laws of logic and still false?
Yes,
No.
false. Something
Prove
can
it.
still be logical and still be untrue.
Yeah, go ahead and demonstrate to me the logical contradiction that's true.
Can you demonstrate to me that you are real?
Yeah. For example,
No,
your
you can't.
senses are how do you know?
You can't.
How do you know? Also,
Because
that's not a
I know.
logical contradiction. This is a blunder.
No, it's not. I
Wait,
could use
sorry, do
the
you
same
think that
premise
that's a
you're using
logical
by saying,
contradiction? Do you think
prove
a
it.
question is, do you think questions are logical contradictions?
Do you think answers are?
They're not supposed to be. If you're giving an answer and that answer is a logical contradiction, it's a bad answer. I don't know why you're so evasive. What do
I'm
you
not
think
being evasive.
Whoa,
You also
sorry.
are being evasive.
Whoa, let's just calm down. No need to get upset. What do you think a contradiction is?
You don't need to gaslight me. That's funny.
You sound super pressed.
No, I'm not pissed.
If
I
I'm
think you are,
picking up
though.
on it,
Your
then
body
the
language
audience
is
is for sure picking up on it.
the body language with your pen is showing you're pissed.
You think? I mean, this
Yeah.
is just going to be true of every live.
You're turning a little red.
For example, I'm literally not. I'm like white as a ghost. I don't know why you would try to go for that one. People can just see that I'm not. It sounds like you got blown the fuck out, like kind of immediately, and now this is all you have. So
well, you
we can
also
go back
said that
to
logic.
it. What do
Something
you
can be
think a
logic.
contradiction is?
You also made a false statement saying that something can be logical, and it's always true, and that's actually false. You can look that up right now since you're so intelligent.
Yeah, sure. Well, you can just give me the example. What's the thing that's necessitated by the laws of logic that's nevertheless false?
I'm sorry, I'm not as intelligent as you. What did you just ask me?
What's
I don't know what you're
the
asking
thing
me.
that's necessitated by laws of logic, but it's nevertheless false? Like, what's the thing where there would be a violation of the laws of logic with it being false? But
Well, I think
it's true.
you're trying to move the goalpost here.
No,
let's go
you
back
said
to
that
the
there are
fact that you
false
answered
things that
incorrectly.
exist.
You actually answered something
You're
incorrectly.
saying that there are illogical things that exist. I'm running into
audience,
you. I'm
fact
running
check this
over
guy.
you, frankly.
Fact check Ian, where he said something could be logical and it can never be untrue.
Yes,
Actually,
that
things
if
can be
something is
logical.
necessitated by the laws of logic, it can never be false. That's correct.
No.
I'm
It can be false. And I just begged you.
That's the sound of you short circuiting.
I just baked you.
Wow.
You
I
baked
just
yourself.
baked you. I just baked you. He really did reset to factory settings. That's why he has to repeat every line 2 times.
Ian,
just to make sure that it actually
sorry what happened
processes
to
to
you
pop
when
it
you
off
were
the
young.
queue. Yeah, I'm sorry for what's
whatever happened
happening
to you when
to you
you were
right
young.
now. I'm sorry for what happened to you when you were young, because you were
lack of a man in your
woefully
life.
unprepared for the fact that
Take
you're
care
getting
of
beat the
yourself.
fuck down right now. I accept your surrender, by the way. Totally folded. Like genuinely spawn killed. One question the entire time. Give me the example of the thing necessitated by the laws of logic that's nevertheless false, and then he runs the fuck away. That was like super easy. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of reason to think that God exists. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Larry Beck, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Larry Beck. $50 super chat, that's huge. I seriously appreciate that. Like from the bottom of my heart, I do. Huge super chats like that allow me to do more. They allow me to get all the tech that I need, all the books that I need. I do seriously appreciate that. Let's get a big W for Larry. Larry, it's also been an absolute privilege to have you in the community. I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you. Fold in like an LDS pamphlet. That's crazy. That's so funny, like genuinely. Well, I currently have nobody requesting to join, so if you disagree with the prompt, if you think that God is real, feel free to request to join. Let's debate. Let's have a discussion. It can be a good faith dialectic. Don't let my scary demeanor scare you. I understand that I'm a frightening individual, and today, in fact, I look quite monstrous. Have you debated Slim? She's literally running from me. She won't debate me. I've requested up multiple times, and every time she says, "Oh, who wants to debate a sophist?" And then she refuses to debate me, just flat out. And she's like, "I'm gonna get Kay to come in here and debate you." she just won't debate me. I don't know. It's not gonna happen. You should definitely, if you ever see her, you should encourage her to stop running, frankly. Because She just straight up won't debate me. She was not going to give an argument for God's existence. It's never going to happen. Islamic Apex is the other person. He will never debate me in a debate specifically about whether or not God exists, because the one time he tried, it went like really badly for him. So now he wants to debate about like side points. But make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of reason to think that God exists. Okay? Whoa, no shot. It's the peptide guy himself. Hey. Wow.
Hello?
Yep. Oh, I thought you're somebody else. You have the same name as the person I was just talking about. Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 24,
Yep. And what religion?
Muslim.
Yep. What makes you think God exists?
Okay, well, I have multiple reasons. One of them, I don't think, maybe it's like a little bit harder to prove, which is from the Quran itself and claims of scientific miracles and fulfilled prophecies.
Hmm.
But I think this is going to be like a difficult discussion, so I can just go on to proving God's existence first if you want.
Yeah, that'd be chill. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think there's a first cause for the universe?
No, I don't see a reason to hold to that.
So you believe that a chain of causation could go on and ad infinitum?
Yeah, and in fact, I think that the theist is like necessarily committed to that. So do you think that God is timeless?
Yeah, God is timeless, yeah.
Sure. So do you think that this timeless God, so either he was eternally creating the universe or he was not eternally creating the universe? If he is eternally creating the universe, then what that means is that there just is an infinite regress because God would have eternally actualized the universe. There's an infinite regress into at least the future because you're probably committed to something like the B theory of time, but then probably also the past because God is just eternally doing it. The alternative is
No,
that
but
God
that would
goes
only be
from
true
not
if there's no
creating and then
divine
he
will.
begins creating, but that would be a change, and all changes happen in time.
But that would only be true if God like burns like fire, but God has divine will, so he has the choice according to his divine wisdom to create at a certain time rather than another time because
Yep.
he sees it fit.
But in order to do that, time would need to exist. So then we can kick the question back one more step. Was God eternally creating time, or did he begin to create time at some point?
No, time started. Time is a creation, so it
Sure.
started. But like the thing is, when I say time started at a point in time, it just
Time
sounds like
started at a point in
counterintuitive.
time? You see
That's
how
why
that's an
it's just
impossibility.
difficult. I understand. That's why it's difficult to conceptualize a world without time. That's not bounded by
It's a
time.
direct
So like,
contradiction, even.
is it a direct
Yeah,
contradiction?
you're saying time happened at a specific time. In order for something to happen at a time, time would need to exist. So you'd be saying that time existed before time existed.
But even if I granted that time existed just as eternally with God, that wouldn't like be
That does mean that
refuting
there's
God's
an
existence.
infinite that does mean that there's an infinite regress.
Uh, okay, maybe like okay, but like I'm not really well like read on infinite regress,
Okay, that's fine.
so no, but I actually get your point.
Yep. Yeah, I think that you're probably
Like
so there's
within
also
my
like
circle, like
another
it's just kind of
that's fine.
axiomatically given that infinite regress is just a non like it's just intuitively rejected by most people within within the circle of
Mhm.
Islamic metaphysics. So maybe like you guys have different view, which I should read more about, but it's just not intuitively clocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you want like another one, presumably you think that God has infinite knowledge, so you would have I don't know, you're going to be committed to, for example, God knows the infinite numbers, um, which means that there's an infinite regress within God's knowledge.
Hello, sorry, it's just maybe internet problems.
That's okay.
Yeah, so what I was saying, maybe it didn't like register in the audio.
Yeah.
I was saying like, yeah, I get that you have your specific rejections or objections about infinite regress,
Mhm.
which maybe totally are valid, but I should read on with them. But within my circle, I think it's intuitively rejected that infinite regress will not lead to the present state of time. Because if it goes back infinity, will not reach the present Oh my God, bro.
Are you okay? I totally heard him the entire time. That's too bad. No. No. I had my million other critiques of infinite regress to run. I was about to get to Autisto ramble about eternalism. No. All right, make sure you're double tapping on that screen. That was like fucking crazy, dude. I thought Anas from Islamic Apex had shown up like moments after I mentioned him. But no, I don't know. It's never gonna happen. But anyway, hey, I have 0 people requesting to join. If you want to debate this topic, if you think that God does exist, let's get the next one on up in here. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Yep, doing well. How old are you?
35, he, him.
Yep, sure. What
Just,
religion? Oop, go
I
for
really
it.
quickly wanted to ask if you're familiar with Christ before Jesus and any of his research.
No.
He's also on TikTok, but he basically talks about how Jesus and Paul never existed. And I just was curious if you've ever looked into any. It's basically using stellometry and some other methods like that talks about.
Stellometry.
Yeah, and just like the writings of the Gospels and when they were done and who they were actually by and how they're not attributed as the early manuscripts. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not like fanboying on him. It just, his stuff kind of makes sense. And I've talked to him a couple times and I mentioned, he said he would love to have a conversation with you, but I mentioned how like, if this is true, then this kind of just like cancels out everything, pretty quickly. Eradicates any arguments.
So, okay, there's like a couple of things that would be very strange to me, which is that, okay, let's say that a lot of the stuff that's attributed to Jesus, like obviously Jesus didn't write any of it himself, but there seem to be like historians that we at least take, like we don't take all their claims seriously. We're certainly not taking the claims of Josephus seriously, in terms of like the supernatural stuff. But, I don't think the claim that a person existed is that big of a claim. I think somebody saying this person existed, they were in this region, they did miracles. To me, I have no problem taking the part that they existed and then disregarding the rest of it. I think that you're going to lose out on like quite a number of historical figures. Like for example, I'd be curious how you account for something like the existence of Socrates if you don't think like Josephus, like how could the evidence for somebody like Socrates possibly be enough to convince you that he actually existed, if you don't think that the evidence that Jesus existed is enough to establish that he existed? I'm not sure how this wouldn't, like whatever standard you apply, it seems like it would inevitably kind of strip away like a lot more people who you probably don't want that to happen to.
Well, and he brought that up that like if you go with that argument, then you have to know like really how to back that up. And he does, I don't. But yeah, just maybe I don't know, check him out. Like a lot of his stuff makes sense. I've read parts of the book, and yeah, I mean it just kind of I don't know. You would need to like obviously, I think hear a little more of how he got to all of that conclusion stuff with the stellometry, but. Again, like I'm not the person to ask, but it basically he can I guess show that like these authors weren't really who they even said they were, so that it was just like kind of this manufactured thing.
That seems confused because nobody claims authorship, so there is no claim to authorship for things like the Gospels.
Wait, say that again?
Nobody claims authorship of the Gospels within the Gospels themselves.
Right. But they're given the name like John, for example. Like we have no like he's saying there's absolutely no reason to believe that John wrote that book.
No, well, I agree with that. I'm on board with that. I just don't know why that would undercut something like a belief in the existence of Jesus on the basis of historians who are like roughly contemporary, who are just making the claim that he exists.
Yeah, and he talks about that with Tacitus and Josephus. Again, I don't know, so I'm not even going to pretend to say. I more so like I check them out, I guess is what I was saying, because
Okay.
I think that if even if you're like this is absolute BS, it's a very interesting like stuff that he talks about, and yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on. All right, let's go to the next one. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Yep. How old are you?
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing well.
I'm 19.
Yep. One sec. Let me turn you up. Yep.
Thank you.
What religion are you?
I'm Muslim.
Mhm.
I'd like to say something before we start.
Sure, go for
My
it.
English isn't very good. Like, if you can be patient with me, like, can I have that?
Yeah, go. I mean, yeah, sure. But yeah, what
Thank
makes you think God exists?
I think everything have a reason to exist besides God. Like,
Hmm.
if we take, for example, a computer, you can't say a computer existed by itself. It's impossible. And your body is more complicated than a computer. That's like an example. Like, what makes you think that God doesn't exist?
There's kind of a lot to unpack there. First, you basically seem to be like immediately special pleading. Like you're saying everything has an explanation for why it exists except God. Why not just
Yep.
draw the line somewhere else? Why not say everything has a reason to exist except the universe? Except, the fields and the energy.
The universe have a reason to exist.
Why? Why would I think that the
Cannot
universe
be-
has a reason to exist?
Because simply it's so complicated. Like, everything like was created by how do I explain it? I really can't explain it because my English isn't very good. But if you can be patient with me, I can like translate, and thank you.
Sure. Although, it's like not ideal, right? You may just want to come in more prepared. Also, if you're off the app, I can't hear you. You got to be on the app, unfortunately. I guess while we're waiting, make sure you double tap it on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Okay, Void, how about you come back later? I also have nobody requesting to join. I don't know what's going on. Hey, how's it going? It's
Hello.
masks again. Yeah, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 18. We talked before.
Yeah, I know, I remember. But I don't know. What do you have for me this time around?
I'd like to ask you about your views.
You're a bit quiet. Can you speak up?
Wait. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah. What do you want?
I would like to ask you about your views. So,
On what?
can you hear me well? You believe that God doesn't exist?
Yeah.
So, how do you believe in time? How did it exist? Is it infinite? Did it start at some point, the universe, or how did it exist?
Yeah, I think the universe. I think likely there's an infinite regress, but time gets kind of weird because I think the entire timeline exists all at once. I think the feeling of presentness is an illusion caused by the fact that our brain is in this specific configuration and that the brain state that we're in is the way that we access the external world. So I don't know, it's going to get strange, but I think the view is probably compatible with time both having like a first moment or also stretching back infinitely. But regardless, I think that what I'm going to hold to is the fact that there's never like some sort of state of reality without time. Like time is necessarily going to exist always.
but I'm not a physicist. I think I heard that in black holes, at the very center, time works in a way that doesn't work the same way in our physics. It's just different. So time changes depending on speed of you, where gravity, how it works. Time is really more mysterious than just the way we perceive it.
I agree, but my view is compatible with that. In fact, in order to explain things like that, what's going to be necessary is to posit the view that I posit, which is to believe that the entire timeline exists. That what actually there is this like four-dimensional space-time, and with four-dimensional space-time, we're able to account for the weirdness of things like black holes. And the fact that time gets kind of strange.
Well, saying that, I mean, I'm not saying that this is understandable or not. This is just an unexplained idea.
No,
At least
physicists
how
can
I
explain
understand it.
that.
Can explain that, okay, that the world exists in four dimensions, including time. Yeah, I heard that, but yeah, I'm not sure of the explanations of that. I heard about it, just I'm 18, didn't study it before, but anyways, disregarding that, I'm asking you about the infinity of time. If it is possible that time have existed infinitely before, then how can you get to this point that we are now at?
Yeah, that's a
Infinite
great
time
question. I
passes,
kind
you
of
can't
answered
get
that
to
a
a
bit
point.
earlier. So the answer to that is that I think the entire timeline exists. I don't think that there is a unique present moment. I think that the entire timeline exists and that wherever your brain is within that point in the timeline, that's what your brain is going to perceive to be the present. I don't think that there's like a special present moment and then all other moments are like not like non-existent. I think that the entire timeline exists and that you're going to perceive different moments as being the present based on where you are in the timeline. So how we get to right here is because the timeline entirely exists and this is a moment in the timeline.
Well, your point, I imagine it as physically correct, that everything works according to physical laws, whether we know it or not, and ultimately the things I will say, depending on how my brain works and such, it's all physical laws, and ultimately everything could technically be explained and even calculated. Of course we can't, but I mean, physically possible. So yeah, it's like everything that's gonna happen is already what's gonna happen, depending on the current laws that already exist.
Yeah, that's what I hold to.
Yeah, I understand that, but that doesn't still explain the very first point.
Why would I think that there is a very first point?
The start of the existence.
Why would I
How
think
did
that
it
there is a
exist?
start to existence? Why wouldn't I think that it always existed?
I mean, that doesn't explain how it exists.
I'm not sure what you're
Like,
asking
that's
for when you ask for an explanation. There is no first moment. Are you asking like what it's grounded in? Because I'd say that ultimately the timeline is going to be grounded in like a deeper physical object, something like the wave function. But I don't know, it would get pretty technical to explain that.
the way I understand your view, which I agree with actually, is that it's how it works, how the universe works, not how it existed or how does it exist. This still doesn't. I mean, we're just kind of having a talk now. It's not really
No, that
something.
does answer the question. I'm not telling you how the universe works. I'm telling you what things like time are emergent from, like what it's grounded in. I'm giving you like a metaphysical thesis when I tell you that it emerges from the wave function.
Yeah, but let's get this. Yeah, I understand. I agree with you that time works in a different way than we exactly see it. So yeah, it works as we perceive it. Its perception is what we see or what we feel. Time is, you could say, it's the separator of events maybe that we perceive. It's not exactly something grounded, or it's something grounded. I'm not sure,
I don't
but
know what you
both
mean by
ways.
rounded, but
No, I mean grounded.
oh. Well, I think it's probably grounded in like the wave function.
Maybe, but let's say that that's true. But let's say that there are a bunch of like atoms and particles that exist, and it works that way. That's what you're saying is an explanation of time, not how these atoms exist.
Well, the explanation for an individual atom, all atoms are going to ultimately be, composed of protons, neutrons, electrons, and then there's like, you can divide things like neutrons and protons down, but electrons seem to be, as far as we know, fundamental particles. And for those are just going to be equivalent to energy excitation in the electron field. So it's going to reduce ultimately to energy within a field. And then the field is going to be possibly just a property of space-time, possibly just emergent from the wave function. There's a couple of views that you could take with respect to that.
Energy. We could just say that everything is energy.
Not quite. Like you might want to say that all of the particles reduce to energy. But there are going to be things that aren't really energy. Things like space-time probably aren't just energy.
I still agree with your view fully, and I find it to make sense in the way that the universe works. Just not how it existed. You're saying that everything reduces into energy. I'm asking, how did this energy
Energy
be
can
what
neither
it
be
is?
created nor destroyed.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So it can't
How
be
does it
created.
exist?
It always existed. It can't be created.
It always existed. You cannot, like, this doesn't still explain. I mean, you just said that time flows directly, and we know, like, what's gonna happen is what's gonna happen. And what happened is what happened. Like, it's a continuous thing that follows rules that fits together. But this really just how it works again. I don't see how this explains the beginning of it.
I'm not really sure what you're asking at this point. I reject that there's a beginning. Every time you ask like what's the beginning, you're begging the question. I don't grant that there's a beginning. That's not my view.
Let me frame this differently. Well, first, it's just not according to our physical laws that time, like, if you have an infinite thing, you can't get to a point like after it. Like, infinity plus 1 is just infinity. Infinity plus 10 million is equal to infinity.
Yeah, it's because infinity isn't really a number. It's kind of hard to place it. It's because you might want to think about it in sets. So something that can be infinite is like kind of like the size of sets. So, when you have a set that has like no limit to it, then you just say that's infinite. And then when you add something to the unlimited set, it's still unlimited. So
I'm sorry, I will try to explain the word set. Like, the word set is in mathematics when you have a group that starts somewhere and goes infinitely.
What?
I didn't study
Yeah.
math in English.
You absolutely can. Yeah. For example,
Yeah.
just the positive numbers start somewhere and then go on infinitely.
Yeah, I was just trying to translate the word to make sure it's what I understand. I didn't study math in English. Anyways, yeah, that's understandable. But you're saying that time exists in a set, not a number.
I'm
It's
not
like
really
saying
claiming that it exists in a set. I would take time to be something like the sequence of moments from past to present to future.
just from minus infinity to plus infinity.
I don't bake that into the definition of time because that would be question begging.
If you're saying it have always existed and will always exist, then you're saying it's from minus infinity because it doesn't start at some point and doesn't end at some point.
No,
So
that's my view, but I
still
wouldn't define it that way because otherwise I would be begging the question against your view. So if I just bake into my definition something like the beginningless series of moments from past to present to future, well, that would beg the question against views that don't think that it's infinite. So I think
Well,
an
yeah.
exhaustive description is just the complete series of moments from past to present to future.
I understand you. I will hold with my that I understand you think it's from minus infinity to plus infinity because this is the definition of it. It's from something that goes like doesn't have a beginning and doesn't have an end. That's what
Yeah,
this set
that's what I
explains.
believe. It doesn't really make sense to talk about it in terms of like from, but yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense in math if you're saying that, but okay. I hope.
Well, wait, but
I mean,
to be clear, right? I mean, it does. You can like all the time you can ask about, well, what does this function do on the interval negative that goes from negative infinity to positive infinity? Literally, we do that in like high school.
yeah. I study math. I mean,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you agree that the set exists like
The
time
set of
existing
what?
from
I'm not sure that I think time is a set.
its existence from minus infinity to infinity?
I don't know why I would think that it's a set. And yeah, we got to be careful with our language, but yes, that is my view. But just to make sure that there's no confusion, my view is not that there's like some literal point that is minus infinity and then it like comes from there. But rather
Yeah,
just
I
there
know
is
what minus
no like
infinity
lower
is.
bound. But yes, that is the view. If you wanted to
Yeah,
put all
thanks.
of the moments of time into a set, that set would have infinite cardinality.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I really understand infinity. I would need to look more into that. Just another fun idea. I had about this. I think I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. If you have, do you think the universe is limited, like
Along what
in
axis?
atoms? Hmm?
Along what axis?
I mean, in terms of atoms and matter and energy.
Are you asking is there infinite energy?
Yeah.
My understanding is probably not, but I don't know. That sounds like something that could be. I think probably we don't know yet, but I'm fine saying no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, the universe is limited, so it has a number of particles. Do you think like cools down, then heats up, and
That seems
expands
likely.
again?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you really imagine that, then it will do that infinite amount of times, and it has done that infinite amount of times, which means everything happened before the exact same way it just did, and will happen again in a different way. Like we're gonna have this
I don't think that
conversation, and
necessarily follows.
no, I don't mean it will exactly repeat. I just
Okay.
mean it
Yeah,
will
but it's
exist in
yeah,
every
we'll do
way.
that infinitely. Yes, I do hold to that. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and it existing in every way means it will at
I
some
do.
point
Ooh, sorry, I
repeat.
don't think that follows. I don't think that it follows that it will be in every possible configuration.
You have an infinite time and not an infinite time and an amount of atoms. It will exist in every way it could exist at.
No, so
Not
for example, what it could do is that it could run into like a repeating cycle. So maybe it has some starting condition and then it goes through like 16 iterations, big bounces and big crunches, and then it's in the exact same state that it started at, and then it just does all of that again. Well, at that
hmm
point, there'd be like 16 universes that it just cycles through. So there'd be these things that maybe you want to say are possibilities, but they wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I understand your point and it totally makes sense. I think they would be way more than 16 though. I think the number would be huge. And yeah,
Hmm.
that's every possible way it could exist in is all the alignment of
Hmm.
atoms it could exist in.
Hmm. Wait, is that scumbag Dr. Blitz here? Dr. Blitz, I have a question that I just thought of. Um,
Huh?
all right, Dr. Blitz, here's what I'm thinking. Let me know.
Wait a minute.
So,
Did you just kick that guy?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
It's because I need to talk to you about physics now. Okay, so you've thought through some of the nuances of like the cyclic universe model, where okay, it ends up in like similar states, but then of course, like you want to say that the universal wave function, there's going to be some sort of like representation of all possible configurations of atoms. But if it goes through a cycle, wouldn't there only be like, wouldn't the only possibilities you need to account for be the specific ones within that cycle?
Well, yeah. Well, okay. So basically, yes, with the caveat that perhaps like there's some like shuffling up of stuff going on at the very like when you get close to a crunch, but not quite at a crunch because quantum gravity or something. But setting that aside, yeah, I mean, the whole point is that the different quote unquote branches, they don't talk to each other. They never do. So there's not much to say there. That all said, there is talking about what's going on as a function of time in a universal wave function picture is hard because time is interior to it. It's not extrinsic to it. But yeah, I mean, like in these kinds of discussions, typically you just kind of imagine that we live in like one classical universe, and then it evolves and it cycles back and forth, and that would just be one branch of the wave function that's doing that. And presumably the other branches would do something similar, just in a slightly different configuration.
Sure. So you think that in like across certain branches, those could undergo like infinite cycles of big bounces and big crunches. Or wait, so potentially all of them do, but then among some, there's like a cycle, depending on where all of the wave functions collapse in big quotes, but depending on like where they fall, and then for the rest of them, maybe potentially there's like an infinite regress that never hits any cycles.
That very much depends. So you could build into your model such that kind of by construction, all of them are cyclic. You could also build into your model that none of them are cyclic.
Well, I'm talking about like, yeah, sure.
So when I say cyclic, what I mean is that they don't exactly repeat themselves.
Yeah.
You could build in either case. Or you could build it in that some of them do and some of them don't, just based off of, the actual dynamics of each branch. It's not clear to me why one should prefer one of those options over another.
Sure. I mean, that seems like sort of like an empirical matter.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That all makes sense. Fuck, I was thinking about fuck. Oh yeah, I was thinking about like time with respect to the wave function. Okay. Do you think different moments could become entangled with each other?
In some sense, I think that this has actually been done, but I don't understand it.
I feel like that must be where, like, okay, thinking through the argument for like the universal wave function where kind of like everything becomes entangled with everything, and then that leads to branching. It seems like in order to have time emerge from the wave function, you would need some sort of entanglement between like the moments themselves in order to get like the one unified wave function, if that makes any sense.
So maybe, but you could also have time emerge in a classically thermodynamic sense. So space, you could have
from
space,
entropy?
Yeah, you could have space emerge from entanglement, and then you could have time emerge distinguishing, time emerge as a function of entropy, for example.
Does that run into relativity problems? Because, okay, so space emerges from the wave function, and then time emerges from entropy, but then couldn't there be like some possible wave functions, not ours obviously, but some possible wave functions wherein like entropy just doesn't exist, so you would have space without time?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Oh, sure, but that wouldn't be a problem because do you think like the fact that space requires time is like a feature of our universe? Not necessarily all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At least not conceptually. Like you can have, I mean, there are models, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get my foot in the door on these models because they're really interesting, where you just have a completely timeless universe, and you just have time ends up just kind of as an illusion that pops up because of an interaction between one kind of timeless field and another kind of timeless field. And those are really weird. And in some sense, they're classical. They don't really require any quantum anything.
Yeah. Put that fuck Quantonaut out of a job.
I hate all that quantum field theory nonsense. Complete nonsense.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Space-time is classical, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've just been measuring it wrong, LOL.
Yup, it turns out that if we had just carried the two.
Yeah, God, based. Well, I'm a bit more knowledgeable. I know that I tried to shield this book to you previously, but there's
I know
like
I still have it pulled up.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about there's like two philosophers who argue for the view that time doesn't actually exist. It's their book is called Out of Time, and I think their argument specifically is that like this like folk conception of time doesn't exist, that the folk conception of time requires a progression of moments from past to present to future, but they argue for like C theory of time, and then from that they conclude that
what the fuck is C theory of time?
You hold that there is no past, present, and future. Like there is. Oh, sorry. That there's no unique directionality.
Oh, I mean seems like it's compatible with B theory of time.
No, because B theory wants to say that past, present, and future are all actual. Like maybe it's just that all the moments. Wait, is it? Maybe it's that there is. Is it that there's no direction to them, or is it that there's no ordering to them at all? I don't know. I feel like, oh, sure, yeah. So it sounds like B theory is the one where there is a sequencing to them, and there isn't necessarily a past, present, future distinction, although there is like an ordering to them, and C theory is that there's no ordering to them.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
I don't know. This is a weird thought that I have, Blitz. It's probably just like worthless speculation, about as valuable as, any quantum gibberator, but
about as valuable as neutrinos.
Up top. So I do wonder, picture if picture that each wave function corresponds to like just one slice of reality, but all the possible wave functions exist. You probably could have like a coherent moment of now with no particular, because like all of the past time slices are also their own unique wave function that also like uniquely exist. I don't know.
What do you mean by a slice? Do you mean like a
just a
time
single
slice?
Just a single moment. Just like
like something that has spatiality but no temporality?
Yeah. But like all of the possible like spatial configurations exist. Presumably this exact experience would exist. And then all of the things that lead up to it would also exist. But it's like very disconnected.
So you're kind of indexing wave functions by some time parameter?
Maybe. I think so.
Possibly. And then what's the follow-up?
I don't know. Couldn't that be the case, Dr. Blitz? Couldn't that be what it is? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, that seems like that conflicts with relativity.
That's true, right? Because you want to say that there is no present. That's what the liberals are taking away from you, by the way. I can't even say that now is now anymore.
So true. I mean, it's not that there is no present, it's that there's not a uniquely defined present.
Wow.
There's not like a unique way of slicing up the universe.
Wow, that's so tangled. I don't know. Is there a fact of the matter? No. Okay, wait. Is the light cone also relative?
Is the light cone relative?
Yeah.
So light cones are based at a point, and then the light cone the light cone's not relative. Either you're within the light cone of something or you're not.
Oh, sure. I probably asked the question badly. Why won't you understand the question better? Fuck.
I'm sorry.
Just understand my poorly asked question.
I'm sorry, Thaka.
What is it? So So the light cone seems to indicate like a specific now, but that now is just relative to the reference frame, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Total pivot. Well, it's a partial pivot. So are you really telling me that let's say I'm traveling in my rocket ship at close to the speed of light, and there's like some fuck who's like, you know, he's observing me and like the light that's traveling next to me. And then he's observing that we're like roughly next to each other, but then from my point of view, this light has like zoomed off. That's strange.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, so from your point of view, all lengths are contracted, right? Like all the stuff is like if you're traveling at close to the speed of light, like from your perspective, the distance to Mars is like 20 feet. So like it'll cover that 20-foot distance in a certain amount of time, and it'll like zoom off. So it'll get there real fast from your perspective. But from somebody else's perspective, they will see that the separation is growing pretty slowly, but they'll also see that your clock is ticking slowly.
Babe, I'm just traveling close to the speed of light. You didn't see it you didn't see the right projection of space-time, babe.
Turns out you can only make things appear smaller, not bigger.
Okay. That's how could you possibly account for this with just 4 dimensions? It seems like you'd need way more than that.
To make things appear smaller, not bigger?
No. And believe me, you know, my dick takes up I don't even know if 4 dimensions is enough.
So wait, what's the question?
How do you account for what the fuck is it? It's like, how do you account for, it doesn't feel like it's enough dimensions to account for something like time dilation.
Why not?
I don't know. It just seems like, okay. Is there some objective fact related to, like, is there like some absolute fact that's related to the 4 dimensions? Or is like all the facts related to like which points of space are when? Is that also relative?
So I mean, there is an objective fact to the universe being, at least observationally, 4-dimensional, insofar as there are 4 unique directions that you can go in. Now, there isn't an objective fact about how much time passes between pairs of events. There's not an objective fact about how much distance there is between pairs of objects. It all relies on who's doing the measuring.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like you're saying no then, that there isn't a fact about which points of space actually exist when.
There's not an objective. Well, all points of space don't begin to exist or cease to exist, really.
I thought they lacked like identity over time.
Well, perhaps that's in agreement with what I'm saying. There just are points of space-time, right? And it's probably not reasonable to say that there is a point of space unless it's paired with a point of time.
Yeah, I think I track that. Fuck. Space is this fill of time shit is so hard.
It is. It's so hard. Why couldn't relativity be false, and then we could just have the Galilean time, and the time is just what the clock does, and we're done. I mean, time is what the clock does, but clocks do different things.
This is so fucked up. I think man, if Albert Einstein proposed this stuff to me, I think I'd kill him.
That's what Hitler said.
I disavow.
Bro literally went about calling this Jewish physics.
I would never do that.
I don't know, man. Sound awfully like Mustache Man right about now.
Bro, you know what someone fucking slid into my DMs to say? I'm pretty sure it's like the one dude the one wacko from that one unapologetic stream, the one who like crashed the fuck out. I don't know if he did this to your comment section, but he's like spamming my comment section. He made an account called like fuck Ian, and then he sent me like a DM, and then at the end of it he says like you Zionist fuck, and like
famously.
What? Does he just think I look Jewish? Like,
yeah, I mean, and this is the classic conflation of Zionism and Judaism, right?
Yeah, what the fuck? Like,
like curly hair must be a Zionist.
Yeah, like what are we doing, dude? Like, I don't know, man. Like, okay, obviously I'm like very anti-Zionist, but it's hard to read this as anything other than like an attempt at anti-Semitism that's like masquerading as like anti-Zionism.
It feels bad. By the way, somebody in your Discord say, I'd pay a lot of money to watch amateurs ask questions to professionals all day. Not to shill for myself, but I literally do that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
Just saying, like, there's a place to do that.
Well,
actually, that was to shill for myself.
Yeah. No,
I will take the free clout, thank you.
I think that's probably fair enough. Trying to account for things like, well, okay, wait. Do you know what do you think in order to be like a substantivalist about time at this point, you would need to hold that there actually is like an objective reference frame?
No, I think you could be a substantivalist about space-time, and then you just say that time is like a real thing that emerges from that.
Wait, is time not just a part of space-time?
Yeah. So like you could just like once you're a substantivalist about space-time, then you're just like, oh well, time is just that thing that that exists for every observer, right?
Sure. That sounds about right.
It would be like being a substantivalist about like color, and then saying like red is just like that thing that you see that's, you know, longer wavelength or something. It's like picking out a specific part of the thing that you're substantivalist about.
Okay, sure. But so you'd be a substantivalist about it, and then but you wouldn't be saying like there just is like one time.
Yeah, I think so. But by the way, I'm definitely coming around to bundle theory. Because bundle theory seems like then you don't need to worry about ontology if you just want to be a physicalist.
That could be true.
Because then things just are how they behave.
That I think that there probably could be something to that. I do think it gets very strange to have like substances that don't have properties, which kind of seems like, well, I mean,
it's also weird to have properties without a substance for that property, but
yeah, I don't know. There's I had something. Fuck. God, I can't remember anything. I'm fucking useless. Oh.
Did somebody get tased in a parking lot?
I hope not.
Somebody in your Discord is saying something about being tased in a parking lot, so I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I disavow that sort of behavior. I don't think you should do that.
Unless it's older millennial.
If I speak, I'll be in trouble. So I shall not
Why would you
speak.
be in trouble?
I can't speak. Otherwise I'll be in trouble.
Okay.
Do you know that meme?
No.
If I speak, yeah.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
I see.
It's good.
I see.
Yeah, no comment.
It's all making sense.
On the older millennial getting tased.
No, you don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. If I speak, I'll be in big trouble.
Too real.
I don't know, but I'm probably gonna. Oh, wait,
Say the
fuck.
magic words. Oh,
Let me rack my brain because I'm.
why are people always like? People are confused in your comments. Like, why is Blitz here? Like,
What the fuck?
I'm here. I'm here all the time.
What? Bro, it's because this person clearly isn't.
Apparently not.
Yeah, what does Dr. Blitz have to do with atheism?
What does Dr. Blitz have to do with Ian?
What's there's that would happen with when I brought like Ella up, people would be like, "What's scientific snitch doing here?" But I think it's very strange to do that with you. I feel like
Considering
it's
that we
like,
have a show.
yeah,
you know.
literally, like that we're about to have like an LLC together or something.
Already have one, actually.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like literally
You just have to sign the damn documents. The LLC
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Also,
I'm
by the
evil.
way, make sure to look at the documents.
I will. I'm a
Do
Dr.
it.
Blitz fan. Is host atheist or no?
Oh.
Yeah.
Real.
Oh, okay, yeah. What do you think about so I feel like there must be like circularity fears here, but what do you think about the idea about reducing time to something like causation? That causation, cause versus effect, is what determines the arrow of time.
It almost gets you there. So not only do you need cause and effect, you also need some way to talk about duration. And in fact, so the interesting thing about cause and effect is, so cause and effect is about light cones, right?
Yeah.
If one thing is in the future light cone of another thing, then the first thing can be caused by the second thing, and vice versa. So that's about light cones. And actually, if you just specify causality, you actually have a kind of a looser structure than a space-time. It's just not enough to specify an entire space-time. You need something that either gives you a size or a duration, something that sets the scale. And it's not clear what that would be.
That's true. There does seem to be like a strangeness there that maybe something like quantization. It feels like if time is quantum, then that would help, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that would.
If time's not quantum, I truly have no fucking clue.
Well, if time's emergent, then if time's emergent classically, right, rather than quantumly, then it doesn't have to be quantum.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it could just give rise to like some sort of continuous series.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think about like the view of causation? So I don't think that this exhausts causation. But what do you think about the view of causation that holds that it's like causation specifically is energy transfer along like intersecting world lines?
You could broaden that to say something like energy transfer or perhaps momentum transfer or something like that. But that's fine. But then which one caused which one?
So you're saying that the intersection of these world lines...
It's symmetric, right? A intersects B is the same as B intersects A.
Oh, maybe you just want to say like from... Well, wouldn't there be like an energy transfer from like one specific one to another one?
Well, yeah, but like, okay, so think about this. So suppose that you have a, so do you mean like which one loses energy is the cause?
Oh, fuck, but you don't want to say that because of like refrigerators.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hate refrigerators so much. That's bullshit.
So did Einstein. That's why he invented one.
Gosh, I'm so
Fun
mad
fact,
at refrigerators.
Albert Einstein invented a refrigerator.
Did he?
Yeah, it's called the Einstein refrigerator.
That makes sense. Yeah, I suppose that is like a counterexample. I don't know. There's also I know another counterexample, and this probably draws me towards like a sort of pluralism. I think that this is going to be a component of like a true theory of causation. I don't think that it's the entirety of it, because let's say that you went away for a week and then you come back and your plant is dead. I might want to say that you are the cause of your plant dying. Like the fact that you stopped watering it caused it to die, but that didn't involve like an intersection of like a world line.
Yeah, that's true.
But you might just want to say that that's like a different sort of, that's like causation, but it's like a different sort of causation.
Yeah, what would you want to say? So
you might want to, I think you'd probably want to give like a counterfactual case for something like that.
Well, could you make is there any relation to that notion of causation and the light cone notion of causation? Yeah, no. Okay, there is, but it's you're right. It involves a counterfactual. So it's something like your world line was not, or your trajectory, the light cones associated with your trajectory kind of removed the plant's trajectory from your world lines. Like your world line diverged from some other world line, and so the light cones didn't intersect for some amount of time until they did again. And the counterfactual is that had they not, then the plant would have survived. Something like that.
That makes sense. Whoa, wait, isn't this the guy that was talking shit?
Oh no.
Sorry. Hey, what's up, Harambe? Oh, Spawn killed, dude. Fucking Spawn killed.
Just like Harambe was.
Too soon. Too soon. Dick's out. Too soon. Dr. Blitz. Despite
Wait, did you kick him?
No, he fucking left.
Why did he say damn guys are mean?
No, that wasn't him. It was like the Harambe guy.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Where the fuck? Hey, get in here. It's fucking invite sent. Nah, it's never gonna happen.
Impossible.
Okay, let me go through and read some soups. Pooh Bear, thanks so much for the super chat. What tablet do you take notes on? I take notes on a remarkable, I think it's called a Remarkable Move.
This live stream is brought to you by Remarkable.
Yeah. Remarkable.
This is sponsored by Remarkable. Everything that Ian said, sponsored by Remarkable.
I actually do have 2 Remarkable tablets. I really like them. I take all my notes. I do all my reading on Remarkable tablets at this point. I don't know. I've been pestering my Discord for books. Like I'll be like, hey, who has institutional access? And somebody will get me a book, and then it gets uploaded straight into my Remarkable. It's great. It's a good system. We need to get them to sponsor. I don't think Remarkable would sponsor us. Inconspicuous typos. Thanks so much for the super chat. What are your thoughts on the properly basic beliefs approach to responding to tag and other precept routines? I never hear it anymore. Not sure why. I don't know enough about proper functionalism to answer this. I know that there are naturalist routes where you say, well, we have knowledge just insofar as our senses are functioning properly, and then you just want to cash properly out. The theist wants to say properly means God designed them, and you want to say evolution designed them, or evolution like gave rise to truth tracking senses. I don't know. It's probably a viable route, although I think that what they want to do, they want to pester you with like how you know anything if you hold to externalism, even though that's like really stupid and confused. So like how do you know that they're functioning properly? And it's like, I don't know, kind of misses the point. Babs, thanks so much for the super chat. Body language, Ian just fidgets a lot, drives my inner granny mad.
Is that person's username Babs?
Yep. Babs Barrett.
Don't tell her.
I won't. Reverend Nate, thanks so much for the super chat. If a day is like 1,000 to God, do you think that could work within relativity of simultaneity concept? Not unless God is like a fucking acceleration, or not an acceleration. Not unless God is like a fucking velocity. I don't know.
Or if he's hanging out near a black hole.
True. You think he does? You think he would? You think he's just chilling there?
Well,
he's like, help!
probably
I'm
not.
being spaghettified.
Also, I think that goes the wrong way, right? If you hang out for a day near a black hole, it could be 1,000 years for somebody else.
Maybe the universe is inside of a black hole.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Maybe God causes the wave function to collapse.
Don't say it.
Chara, I think. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, Chara, thanks so much for the super chat. Let me frame this differently. Proceeds to pivot based. Bob's Barrett, thanks so much for the super chat. No, sorry, Babs Barrett, thanks so much for the super chat. Oh fuck, Dr. Blitz, that's the other thing I wanted from you. I'm looking into the causal closure argument for like physicalism with respect to the mind. What do conservation laws come from, like the geometry of space-time?
Kinda, yeah.
So then, okay. So if all this shit is conserved, then it means like whatever the mental stuff is, it has no impact it has no causal impact.
Well, okay, but you could have different states that have the same conserved quantities. So like in principle, playing devil's advocate here, you could have like the mind picks between two states where they have like the same energy, the same momentum, but they're like somehow differently arranged or something.
I see. Fuck. But wouldn't that be a violation of some other law of physics?
Probably. I mean, well, okay. We can probably, if you allow for some notion of causality, then, and like just throw away quantum mechanics for now because that just confuses things. But
yeah,
given classical mechanics, there is a unique trajectory for any system as it travels through as it proceeds through space-time, if you will. And so even though there might be equivalently energetic or momentum, whatever states, they just wouldn't have been able to get there through this classical trajectory.
Sure. So that probably would then come down to like a question related to like neurons, how the neurons are functioning when decisions are made.
Yeah, but the thing is like neurons are physical things. So like they're either going to do what we expect from them physically, or they're not. And if they don't, then go find a violation of the laws of physics in the brain. Or if they do, then the mental stuff is not having an effect.
Yeah, wouldn't there need to be like some sort of indeterminism for the mental stuff to have an effect? Like indeterminism of neurons?
Yeah, there would. And furthermore, it has to be non-statistically random indeterminism. Right? Because you can have indeterminism that's not compatible with like some sort of mental effect,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If it's as random as rolling the dice, then
yeah, it needs to be like deterministic, but in like it needs to be non-deterministic, but in some sort of like way that still favors like certain statistical outcomes.
In a way that defies the expected probability distribution.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would make sense, right? Like there's some decisions that like literally everyone would make, and it's like, okay, do you want to get your balls blended by the blender? And you say, oh, no, why no? No, I wouldn't. And then everyone makes that decision, and then you have like a decision that like 90% of people make, or like most people make. We'll get there. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what the fuck 10% of people do.
They say yes.
They say yeah to, well, but presumably the ball blender is the one where it's like 100% no. Well, it just definitely, I guess it just like super seems like there would be decisions that everybody makes.
Well, it's not about decisions. It'd be about like, so right? Like quantum mechanics can introduce this level of indeterminacy if you don't take the many worlds interpretation seriously. And the point is that the indeterminacy is given by some, some wave function or something like that.
Yeah.
And so what you would do is you would just go look at, you look at a specific neuron and you would ask, does that specific neuron, do the outcomes of that specific neuron have it like the indeterminacy? We could predict that in principle, what the outcome probabilities should be. And then you just go look in brains, does that specific neuron actually fall along that probability distribution? Like it gives this outcome 70% of the time, this outcome 30% of the time, or is there something else going on that's causing it to deviate from the predicted outcomes from, say, the Schrodinger equation? And, in the case of the former, then the mind is having no effect. In the case of the latter, you've found that Schrodinger's equation is false.
Wait, one sec. There's this guy, I'm a dunce 3. He says, going back and forth, both not knowing nothing is funny. I'm a dunce 3. Hop into the guest request box and let's see what you know.
Pooping back and forth forever, I hear, is not fun.
Yeah. Yo, no shot. No shot he joins, but man. Were you there that day where I made the dude take the IQ test live?
I watched that live. It was so funny. He actually did better than I thought he would.
Well, no, because it literally refuses to show you anything below 100. So you should imagine
right, but
it
he got
as
105.
being, well, yeah, but you should probably expect that it's giving you a higher score than you actually get. And this is they probably cut it off at I don't know, some number of standard deviations below. So I think that it's probably all shifted.
I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't shifted and just that half the population would end up with a score that's not displayed.
No, I don't think that's true. I think that they for sure want to display your score.
Was it like a reputable website or?
Kind of. Well, it's like Mensa Norway. So
then I'm sure they're not shifting it. That'd be crazy. I mean, putting somebody at an IQ of 105 is not unsurprising for that.
Whoa, is that friction?
That means that he's mild. He's less than one standard deviation above average.
I've never seen anybody get that low of a score, and I've had some really dumb people complete the test.
But that means that they did better than him.
Yeah, they did. They got like a 110 or something. Yeah. Wait, isn't friction philosophy the guy that bodied you on the fine-tuning argument?
Yeah,
No,
probably.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm sorry. That's
super bad faith.
I disavow.
Friction philosophy.
Yeah. Yeah, horrendous faith. All these fucks that publish in philosophy journals are so bad faith.
I heard that Friction actually wanted Harambe to get shot.
I heard this too. Dr. Blitz, are you a red buttoner or a blue buttoner?
I refuse to comment on pain of losing half of my audience.
Holy shit, dude. This guy's that's really funny. This guy's a red buttoner.
Or I'm a blue buttoner and I don't want to lose to red buttoners. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, red buttoners think that blue buttoners are stupid. Blue buttoners think that red buttoners are evil.
Yeah.
And why would you follow either if you're the other?
I think I'm intuitively red button because I just don't think it's my problem. But
who knows? Now all the blue buttoners are going to leave you.
I don't know. Weigh the 4 options.
I'm actually an anti-buttoner. I just refuse to participate.
A button abolitionist. That's so base, dude. I had somebody the other day. I was giving him anti-gay thought experiments, where he was like, "Okay, if you could, a button in front of you, push it, turns everyone gay. Button in front of you, push it, turns everyone straight. Which button you choose?" And I'm like, "I'd choose the straight one, I guess, because I think it's cool for humanity to keep existing." But and then I was like, "Okay, let's say button in front of you. One of them turns everyone into farmers. The other one turns everyone into computer scientists, and then you all starve to death because there's no food." you know, which button you picking? And he's like, you know, I simply wouldn't choose. Fucking goat, dude. He's the fucking goat. I wish I thought of that when he was asking me a hypothetical. Fuck.
I'm pretty sure I'm a quietest about buttons.
Yeah, these you mean the atom arranged button wise?
Yeah, absolutely.
No special composition going on there.
What do you mean red and blue? Those are just conceptual.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I'm like an eliminativist about that.
Don't you mean the 600 nanometer and the 450 nanometer buttons?
Oh yeah, wait, Friction wants to explain his button stance.
It's gonna be he's gonna like press both or something.
Yeah.
Right, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. No, I'm a red buttoner. And it's a little bit complicated, but like the main factor for me is like, okay, what are the risks of pressing blue? Right. I mean, you might have different expectations regarding the overall vote, but it's about 50% chance that, you know, you'll get unalived. Something like that. Maybe you think a bit higher, a bit
you
lower.
can say I don't care about censoring. You can say died here.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just assumed it's like that. All right. So 50% chance of dying if you press blue, give or take. You might be a little bit higher, might be a little bit lower, depending on your expectation of the outcome. Because like some of the polls that showed a bit of a small blue majority, but maybe we think it'd be a bit less if we're actually down. Yeah, whatever. About 50% chance of dying, and that would also impact people around you. Like if you die, then maybe some of the people that survive that either depend on or care about you, and that's a serious cost as well. And then what's the benefit of pressing blue? Well, it makes the outcome that blue wins like very slightly more likely, right? You know, one extra vote for blue makes it slightly more likely that blue wins in the end. Not very much more likely, because it's very unlikely that one vote's going to make the difference there. So the way I think about it is, and there's a couple other factors, but this is like the main thing. I'm weighing roughly 50% chance of my dying that would also impact others who depend on or care about me, versus like a roughly 0% increase in the likelihood that blue wins. It doesn't seem like a very good trade, so I should press the red button. And I also should hope that other people press the red button too.
Do you think
especially people who care about it? So
do you think the argument that you're making, do you think that like the blue argument applies to things like voting? Do you think there's like couldn't you make that sort of argument if somebody didn't vote? Or are you saying like would the difference there be like there isn't a 50% chance of you dying?
Right. Yeah. So we could have different stances on like individual rationality of voting.
Yeah.
You might argue that we have good enough reason to vote, but suppose that we do have good enough reason to vote in a regular election, even though the expected impact of our vote is negligible. The difference is still that the stakes are much lower in that case, right? It seems to me that regardless of what we say about the regular voting case, it's very different here. Like, suppose for a regular election, like if you were going to go vote in the next federal election, say, but in order to cast your vote, you had to like cut off your hand.
Yeah,
right? Like that would be a terrible. You shouldn't do that, right? Like unless you were really confident that maybe like you're going to be the deciding vote and you really care about which candidate wins and you wouldn't mind losing a hand for that. But in general, you shouldn't be doing that to cast a vote in a regular election. And I think that voting blue is much more like that than
but have you considered that red versus blue is like voting red is like voting for the guy that if he wins the presidency, then he kills all the blue people.
I was about to say.
Voting blue is like voting for the guy who doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah. So in that case, if we keep the cases perfectly analogous, we're going to suppose that the candidates are otherwise the same. Like we don't suppose that the candidate who wants to kill people who don't vote for him if he wins isn't going to do a bunch of other horrible things. Like maybe he's just going to kill everyone anyway.
Exactly.
In which case, like, you know, right. So let's suppose we're taking for granted that he's not going to do anything else worse, you know, than the other candidate. Then it's to me effectively the same, and I would still vote for him. Right.
I can't believe you would vote for a murderer.
Wait, so to be clear, if my platform was like murdering like half the people who don't vote for me, do you think that would be like, would you vote for me?
Yeah, so if the platform was murder everyone who doesn't vote for me if I win or something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then I win. It's the same deal, right? The original case. I mean, it's a tough situation, right?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that that's like this? Are you telling me that that's like the cheat code for like winning a presidential election these days? Just be like, look, if you don't vote for me and I win, I will kill you.
Fucking goat, dude.
Yeah.
Like, is that what Kamala should have done?
If we took the threat to be credible, then
Sure. Yeah, I'll get SEAL Team 6 to come to all of your houses and like fucking shoot you.
I'm pretty sure that that's what some people thought Kamala was going to do, actually.
True.
Yeah. Or she was gonna, get all the illegals into the country, and then there would be like rampage in the streets or something.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose that makes sense, but then I guess like my
it's a
intuition
terrible
is
situation.
like,
You don't really want to do either thing, right? But
my intuition
anyway.
tells me like pretty strongly that you should vote for like the blue candidate in that case. Like if the red candidate's policy is like I'm going to murder everybody who votes for the blue candidate, and the blue candidate is like, well, I'm not going to do that, the red candidate wins, it feels super like I should just vote for the blue candidate. But maybe that gets like complicated. Maybe there'd be like a successful debunking argument against that.
No, the intuition is fine. Right? Obviously, the other candidate, the quote unquote blue candidate, is a much better candidate, and so we have some reason to vote for them, right? If there were no stakes,
why did you assume that the candidate's a man?
True, canceled.
That's right. Got him. Anyway, the point is that, and it's the same in the original case, right? If there were no stakes to voting blue in the original Biden case, of course we would vote blue. But here it just seems like the same deal. I mean, I don't know. The stakes are quite high.
Okay. I think that probably makes sense. Yeah. That seems reasonable to me. I don't know. Do you think Christians are obligated to be effective altruists about their prayers?
Do you think not? I don't know.
Do you think they're obligated to make prayers that's right, you're probably a moral anti-realist. Never mind. You don't have any ethics.
Well, I'm not exactly an it's a little bit complicated. But sure. But in terms of what they're committed to, I don't know. I don't know why they'd be committed to some sort of effective altruism or some sort of consequentialism or journalism.
That's probably true. But are you not a anti-realist about ethics?
So more or less, like you can say that, but technically my view is more some sort of pluralism. That's hard to capture.
Do you think that there's like any sort of sense of the moral language that's like a realist sense?
Yeah, I do. And I think some of it gets used even in different realist senses, where some of it feels to be factual. Some of it is sort of factual in a kind of trivial way.
Do you hold the Lance Bush view then?
Well, I think I say things that Lance might not say, but I feel like if I explained this to him, I doubt he would have any issue with what I say.
Okay, sure, yeah. That makes sense, yeah. I don't know, seems like the final evolution of atheism. I guess you just can't know what anything means anymore under the atheist paradigm. You can't know what intuitions are, can't know the moral facts, it just all falls apart for you.
Yeah, I don't say that. Well, I do think that some of the language gets hard to understand as employed by certain philosophers. But I don't think the normal moral discourse is like that, generally speaking.
Sure. Okay. Gosh, I don't want this to turn into like me rambling. I have like a ton of questions for you, but I don't want to ramble or whatever.
I was only going to come up for a couple minutes. I was going to go make dinner, but I have something really quick.
What sort of stance? Do you? Okay, this is just like a random fucking shot. Do you hold to Do you have any stances on like substantivalism versus relationalism versus like super substantivalism and philosophy of time?
Nothing super firm. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess this is primarily a physics question, but
you think?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, would our temporal talk, especially as it's used in, scientific context, is latching onto whether seems to me primarily a physics question. I'm not sure that's something I'm going to solve.
Oh,
Just
here's
thinking
what I
about
should
it on
ask
the
you.
outro.
Are you going to stop running from Ethan Muse? Are you going to stop hiding from him?
That's good. No, it's funny because what's his face? I commented on some Ethan Muse video, maybe it was a debate that was canceled. Actually, I think I commented on that on Twitter.
It must have been like the Mormon one, I think.
Yeah. It was canceled. The other guy backed out. I don't know.
Fair enough.
For some reason, but I commented on it. Yeah, before I knew it was canceled. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the sort of content that like I definitely want to see, or something, something kind of sarcastic.
Yeah.
And Cameron responded. He's like, well, we should set up a debate between you and Ethan Muse on theism or something. I'm like, okay. I said absolutely, and I didn't get any further reply, so I don't know.
Really? I'd be super curious to see the response, because so far all I've seen is like Ethan Muse like tearing people in half. Like I feel like I haven't seen a single good debate performance against him.
Yeah, the only thing I wouldn't really be bothered to talk about is like I don't really want to get into some of the weeds on these like miracle reports. Like I could spend the time sort of investigating them, but I don't want to have a conversation that's going to require me to do that. I'm not really interested in doing that. So like, if that's the sort of discussion he wants to have, I'm probably going to pass.
Sure.
But if he wants to talk more generally about just some of the standard arguments for theism, I'm perfectly fine to do that. I mean, I can even talk generally, a bit more generically about arguments from miracles and personal testimony and so on. But I don't really want to get into the weeds about like, and this news report from like Fatima and like I don't know.
Yeah. News report translated with AI like from Portuguese.
The zenith was 12.7. Like I don't like whatever. It's not the stuff I'm gonna spend time investigating. But I'd be happy to talk with him about theism more generally.
That makes sense. Well, I don't know. Here's a thought that I have about it. I'm perplexed by the religious data that's in front of me, because it kind of seems like all the miracle claims point towards Catholicism, and then I don't know, like church history seems to point towards Catholicism, and from my experience, like the good moral fruits point to Catholicism. And then Catholicism has like by far the least plausible metaphysics of any of the denominations, and it's kind of not even close. I don't know. It's like, I feel like it like exacerbates like a problem of religious confusion.
Yeah, I mean, it is true that if you look at a lot of the data regarding personal testimony and miracle reports, like it's a lot more frequent in Catholic context than in others. It's not exclusive to that, obviously, but it's more common. I think part of that is, part of that is certainly because people are sort of primed for that. There's a sort of tradition of that sort of thing, and people in those contexts are looking for or expecting that sort of thing, and to some degree even faking those sorts of things.
Sure.
We know there's a long history of faked claims and false relics and so on. That's not to say that all of them are fake or false. But I think that to some degree explains why there's more of them in that context. But yeah, I've often said that like people ask me like, well, what do you think are the best arguments for theism? I actually think personal testimony, like miracle claims, this sort of stuff is, I rank that as the best. At least it's the stuff that's most likely to convince me. These other kind of, especially the a priori arguments, really, I put low stock in those.
That seems plausible. You've definitely read like way deeper into the literature than I have, but it kind of seems like almost inevitably that there's always going to be like some view that undercuts it. And I think like in an attempt to try to repair it, I feel like you see this with like the Kalam discourse. that in order to motivate the arguments that they want to make, they end up adopting like really implausible principles, like principles that are way less plausible than the initial conclusion was.
Yeah. Speaking of that, though, I don't know if you saw the debate between Craig and Malpass about that.
Yeah, I watched like the first 30 minutes of it. Yeah, I intended to finish it.
I'm going to be doing a review of that with Graham Hoppy, so that could be interesting.
Oh, that sounds super cool. Yeah. How do you feel? I thought what I saw, the discussion was great. I don't know. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I think it was a good discussion. I think Malpass, I think, got some good points in, although he said some things I don't quite agree with. And, Greg did okay. I think he made a couple of good points too. There was something at the end I remember him saying something that I agree with, but I forget what it was exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I thought it was a good discussion. Not too in depth, but it was reasonably. They covered a decent amount of things, and it wasn't. It was relatively productive.
Yeah, seemed to be. Yeah, and I'm yeah, of course, like they can't get too in depth because of the audience.
Yeah, they only had an hour and a half at most. So.
Yeah, no, I wish they would have spent more time. Well, I haven't gotten to it yet, but just based on the distribution, I feel like they would disagree far more on like the second premise. Also, I don't know. I think
they covered it, but probably not enough.
I don't think it's like. Not that this is what they should be concerned with, but I do think it's like rhetorically bad to disagree with the first premise. Typically, it just seems it's a very intuitive premise.
See, I don't feel that way myself. I mean, because if you ask me, okay, ignore more generic concerns about causality and yada yada yada. If you ask me, like, okay, there's some sort of overall structure to like the world in causal terms, right?
Yeah.
You can think of a graph of with all the nodes of causes and effects.
Yeah.
And it's a question whether I think it's a substantive question, sort of not resolved by our current evidence, really, whether the causally initial things, whatever's causally initial, are all in time or all not in time, right? In the sense that they have some first moment, say. Is it like, if it turned out that there's some first moment of time and all of reality is contained within time in that way, then this principle is just going to be false, right? Because there's going to be something that's causally and temporally initial, or at least, causally initial without having some prior cause.
Yeah.
And I just don't think we have a lot to go on to decide between a causal principle that precludes that and one that allows it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess it does seem kind of silly to try to reason about, like, probably making arguments from experience with respect to like I don't know, like foundational metaphysics. Like there probably isn't like a great one-to-one there. Like I feel this way a lot when people are making arguments about like intuitions with respect to like some sort of like metaphysical fundamental entity, and it's like, I don't know, I'm not sure how well those things are going to map onto each other.
Yeah, there's not much to say about that, but I should go. I gotta
Yep. All right. Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on up. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yep. Babs Barrett, thanks so much for the super chat. There are an infinite number of divisions between 1 and 2, therefore I walk 2 feet. I've traversed infinity based. Chara, thanks so much for the super chat. How do you feel about the fact that you probably have more in common with power scalers than the average nerd? I'm open to that. They do this a lot in Discord. Holy shit, dude. My brain is like fucking cooked.
Would you say that atheist debaters are just power scalers between physics and God?
That's crazy. That's so funny. Yeah.
It might be true.
It really could be. It really could be. Who's going to be able to explain things more? Well, although I think at this point, probably it's moved on to like a power scaling between. I feel like the common arguments right now are between like neuroscience and God. Like who's capable of explaining the qualia?
Well, yeah, that and well, I mean, the Kalam is still pretty popular, so that's a physics
true.
question.
Well, but the Kalam is like I don't know. Of all of the central arguments, I think probably the lowest is like the moral argument, and then like close follow-up is the Kalam. I think the Kalam is like genuinely fucking garbage.
Yeah, I don't know how William Lane Craig continues to defend it after getting sloshed by Sean Carroll.
Yeah.
Like, bro's like, BGV, the BGV theorem's false, bro.
I'm just convinced that there's like, okay, I'm convinced that one of two things is true. Either God is temporal, in which case time just exists infinitely. It's just always existed. God's temporal. Or time, or like God is timeless, in which case eternalism is true. And then there's an infinite regress into the future. Like, I actually think both of those are like bulletproof. Like, I actually don't think there's any way out of that. I think timeless God entails infinite actual future, or temporal God entails infinite temporal past. I don't know, man. I just think I think it's clipped at that point, probably.
Sorry, what was the first one?
God is temporal, and he's just always existed in time.
And he's always been creating?
No. He's just always existed in time.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, then there's just infinite time in the past. There's just been infinite actual moments.
Yeah, sure. And then what was the other one? The other one was that God is not in time, and then
God's timeless. And then there's a couple of ways to motivate this, but okay. God's knowledge is just the sum total state of affairs, and God's knowledge doesn't change. So the sum total state of affairs itself must not change. At the highest level, at the level that God exists at, the entire timeline must just exist, and there is no change.
Sure.
So that commits you to eternalism.
Now, that version of eternalism is compatible with the universe having a first moment.
That's true, but then you have an infinite future.
You could have a first moment and a last moment.
You could, but that throws away all of the heaven claims that they probably want to make.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Most theists want to say that the future could be infinite. So that's correct, right? Like possibly the future is infinite. If God's timeless, then eternalism is true. Therefore, there's like an actual infinite in the future. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's. I actually just don't think that there's a way.
Or
out
is
of that.
heaven when you just become part of God again?
That's kind of kinky.
And so you become no longer timeful.
I want to be his cock sleeve.
I want to be his foreskin. Joke's on him.
Oh gosh.
Does God have a foreskin, or did he circumcise himself?
That's a great question. Well, I mean, presumably Jesus was circumcised.
Yep.
Whoa, yeah. For more on this.
Wait a minute, hold on. If Jesus was circumcised and God is divinely simple, does that mean that they took away all of God when they removed the foreskin?
Ian and I actually, not on specifically on that particular aspect in that question, but we did talk on
dodging the problem of foreskin. Okay.
No, but we did talk on the incarnation and the way the two natures interact with the personhood of Christ.
Please.
So no, it would not take away the entirety of God from him being circumcised.
Would it only take away part of him?
It took a part of his human nature, nothing of his divine. Because of the way the incarnation works.
Can I ask you the question that I was asking you at the book club? Do you have like an answer to that one?
Remind me the question again.
So, okay. Is Jesus's existence identical to his divine essence?
His human existence, no.
But he does have a divine essence, right?
Yes. So this touches a little bit on what we were talking about at the start of the live as well.
Wait, does he have a human existence and a divine existence?
Well, the divine existence is the divine essence.
Yeah.
It's the divine nature.
No, I get that.
So it's more of that his human nature has an actualization, which we call existence, in the same way that you and I have an actualization, which touches on what we were talking about at the beginning of the life, that divine nature, or the existence implicator, that is the divine essence, is a little bit different because it's now an identity versus what it is for us. So I definitely need to do a lot more exploration into it, as far as that, because Dr. Blitz stumped me on Sunday after you left for the line with Matt.
Yeah.
But what I did come up here was just to say that, like, there is an understanding of heaven and eternity where it is atemporal, meaning that there is no time or change in heaven, so it's not infinite time, which again is not going to be what a lot of. What was it?
Heaven is timeless?
Yes, that is because if you are like one of the things, especially when you start looking into like the angels, they don't change either because they're not in time, so they don't have change.
But do the angels have can the angels do stuff?
Not in the way that we would understand it, and there's still free will, and I'm still working like that's why I don't think free will requires change, but that's a whole other. What was that?
What are they willing?
Effectively, their orientation to be in union with God or not in union with God.
But wouldn't that be a change if they go from one to the other?
So the argument within Catholicism is that once that orientation is selected, because the angels are created with all the knowledge, like for example for Satan, including the knowledge of the pains of hell, and yet he still oriented himself away from God, even with that knowledge. And because in order to repent or change your mind requires new information, there's no new information for him to get, so he's not going to change his mind.
Wait, what about the sensation of getting tortured?
That's why, like, when you and I had that conversation on hell, I talked about it being internal, and it's less of an external sensation, even if it's described as such. But it's an internal pain as opposed to a sensation, what we would call being sense-based.
I don't understand why, if you take free will to exist, I don't understand why there's any requirements to change your orientation towards something. Like why you need new information to change your mind.
Because from what I understand and what I've seen is if you take, if you make a choice, Dr. Blitz, and you believe it to be the best and correct action, are you then going to take a less correct or less right action?
Well, I would take the view that free will doesn't exist, which is why I would only ever do one thing given that. But like if free will does exist, then it seems like changing one's mind is something that one could always do freely.
That sounds very like a libertarian free will, which I am not a libertarian free will.
Okay, you're a compatibilist of some kind.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that violates you or if that resolves the critique you had.
Yeah, it does. It does. You're good.
Okay.
Wow, atheism refuted. Let's all go to mass.
But by the way, Dr. Blitz, I love and hate you for the fact that you presented me with priority monism.
Oh no, priority monism is like for some reason, like a lot of and your criticisms or your arguments weren't white belt, but like a lot of like the white belt theists will be like, yeah, but then like, what do you mean? What makes up the quarks? They're just nothing. You believe in nothing. And it's like, bro, what about priority monism? Haven't you ever considered not being a reductionist? And then that just blows their mind.
Yeah,
that's true. Because you would need to say that there's like some like highest layer of reality that emerges otherwise.
But yeah, I just
wait,
had a quick.
Fuck, I'm inconveniencing Molly. Hold on 1 sec. I gotta finish reading supers.
How dare you?
Vintage Atheist, thanks so much for the super chat. Listen, man, your hair's gotten shorter and shorter. If you start a mustache, Blitz is going to sound the alarm bells. In a good way? In a bad way?
What?
Bad way.
Hair does get shorter after you get a haircut, and then it gets longer again.
No shit. Dr. Blitz, who is that for?
That was for the super chat.
No, I'm kidding. Cranky Old Cuber, thanks so much for the super chat. Not bummed Blitz is here at all. Love this conversation. Cheers to both of you. Yeah, for some reason people hate things that aren't like fucking Bloodsport slop. You know, I'm sorry. I take my opponents seriously. I'm sorry. I'm the asshole. Relax with Russell ASMR. Thanks so much for the super chat. It just feels like 4 dimensions can't account for this. Brian Green enters the chat. Who's Brian Green?
He's a string theorist.
So
he thinks that there's 10.
1 for each finger. Coincidence?
I think it's that we were created in the image of the universe, actually.
I look down and I see 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. That's 10.
It is 10. It's actually, we were created in its image, turns out.
True. Manny Black, thanks so much for the super chat. Is pescatarian equivalent to eating pork? Thanks. No, like morally equivalent? No, I don't think so. I think probably you'd say that, well, because I think technically you'd be eating way more fish, but also pigs are like way smarter than fish. They probably have, like, they're probably like way more morally valuable, but the conversion rate there is strange. I don't know.
Well, what if you only eat like swordfish? Because then you don't need to eat way more of them.
True, you eat nothing but tuna.
Because tuna are huge. But also, I think tuna are smarter than, like, I don't know, like salmon.
True.
Is the size of the animal correlated with its intelligence? If so, I'm gonna get big.
Aren't you already taller than most?
Yeah, I'm 8'6".
True.
I meant wide.
How tall is Justin?
I'm pretty sure he's 4'11". As tall as Rob Reich.
Former Secretary of Labor Rob Reich?
Yeah, he's 4'11".
That's, you're fucking with me.
I'm literally not. Dude is so short.
That can't be true.
You're one of the 10,000 today.
That can't be true. What the fuck?
Yeah, imagine him standing next to, like, Bill Clinton.
Oh, I'm seeing fucking pictures of it. What the literally impeccable. Bro, I'm a huge College Humor fan.
He is just like a miniature man. And I don't think it's like a genetic thing. I think he just had something like as a kid.
I see.
Because that's why what's his face? Sam is normal height, I think. It's like average.
Did you know that Sam uploaded the picture on... Sam is the person who uploaded the picture on his own Wikipedia page?
That checks out, to be honest.
That came up in an episode of Game Changers to shame him.
I love Game Changer.
Yeah.
I watched the episode yesterday where they have to keep their heart rate down, and that was very funny.
Oh yeah, they just came out with a new episode. I watched it with my girlfriend. It was like hilarious. It was great.
Based.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it tonight.
Yeah, I've watched all of Game Changer. It's so fucking good. Did you know that...
You know, Hank Green was on Dimension 20, and I'm just like, I just need to get to the science communication level of Hank Green, and then I can go beyond Dimension 20.
Yeah, Legal Eagle was on the newest Game Changer episode.
Crazy. What?
Yeah, they brought in a panel of lawyers.
Oh, that's nuts.
Yeah, it was fun. Did you know that Sam Reich is from Cambridge, Massachusetts?
I did know that, yeah.
It's not commonly known.
I think it is pretty commonly known. Somebody just accused us of podcasting. Never.
Yeah, maybe, but it was. I hope the person isn't still here. That's all I'm saying is it was better than talking to the person I was talking to. It's a slow day. I'm just hanging the fuck out.
I'm technically doing work because I have a calculation that takes 6 minutes to run every time I run it, and if I want to change something small, it takes another 6 minutes, which is annoying. So like it's type one thing, run it. Oh, 6 minutes later, oh, there's another thing I have to do. Okay. Type one other thing, run it. Takes another 6 minutes. It's horrible.
That does sound horrible.
Yeah.
Do you know about Gru? Not the Despicable Me guy, like the property Gru.
The property?
Yeah, Gru.
Like you mean like the big like brown blocky thing that like has big teeth?
No. Gru. Okay. Gru is green. If it was observed before a specified future date, or blue after the specified date. Anything with that is Gru. So for example, anything that you see, so let's say we set Gru to be like the 1960s. Let's say set the date the 1960s. Well, anything we see that's blue after that is Gru.
Why would you do that?
I think for property analysis, I think it's useful for certain properties. There's like some like philosophy of property stuff that you can do with that. But anyway, Adam Carmona says Nelson Goodman had a Gru button.
Oh.
Gravel Skeleton, thanks so much for the super chat. Do you think there is a good or fun argument to run against preceptors or the generic God believers that God died upon creating the universe? I don't know what the argument there would be. I think the funnest thing to run against preceptors is that all these problems apply to God. I think probably the unbeatable questions are, how does God know anything? And then you can just appeal to the way that God knows shit.
But what if they just say God is knowledge?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So you're saying that like I have God in my head? You're saying that when I get like concussed, I like lose some God?
Yep.
I also think that there's, well, I think that that's probably pretty incoherent insofar as knowledge is a type of like mental state.
What if they say that God knowledge is a different kind of knowledge?
Then they're equivocating.
Yeah.
So.
But what if they say it anyway?
Okay, sure. Probably what you want to ask is like, okay, does God know that 2 + 2 is 4? Like, does God have like a justified true belief that 2 + 2 is 4? Maybe.
And if they say no.
Oh, then you know things
God justifies why 2 + 2 is 4.
Well, then you know things that God doesn't.
True. I
think that's you probably just want to get clear on what it means for God to know things, and then you just point out, well, Herm, looks like I know things that God doesn't. The alternative is that you just ask them like, how do you know God isn't lying to you? And they'll give you like, they'll basically just run tag again, and they'll say, you know, we have knowledge. And if we have knowledge, then, you know, there needs to be this God that isn't lying to you. And you could probably at that point just ask, okay, how do you know you have knowledge? And then wherever they appeal for that, they'll say it's a performative contradiction. And then you say, well, that's how I have knowledge. Fuck you. Reverend Nate, thanks so much for the super chat. Did you get a haircut? Nah, man, I got them all cut.
Or you could say that they grew back in.
Lorana, thanks so much for the super chat. Just go vegan. No need to choose which animals to exploit. That's true, although certainly eating some animals is worse than others. I'm going to feel so bad.
Turns out eating theists is not as bad as eating pigs.
True. Adam Carmona, thanks so much for the super chat. JJ Alitzer has a dead God theology. I don't know anything about that. Okay, I'm leaving. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me just make sure.
You weren't fast enough.
Let me make sure. Okay, yeah. Bye.